Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 41, the last episode of this year of our Lord 2022. Last session, y'all fought a bunch of monkeys. We had a guest star and a random ass Harangon tribes person, tribe of one. And you uncovered the solution to a puzzle that opened the way into the volcano, which was your destination since arriving here. So
That
currently,
Harangun was a very hoppy.
he was hopped up on something. So you stand before. This is just after you finish the puzzle. You stand before the intricately carved lion's head relief. That's 15 feet tall, just about. The mouth now open, revealing a illuminated tunnel that goes into the volcano.
Well, at least we don't have.
Try that one more time.
I said, well, at least we don't have to light a torch.
I suppose that is nice.
So me front again.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll go. I walk
Thank
up
you.
then, start going in front.
Mhm.
I have my staff and my shield ready though.
So when you get to the entrance to the mouth of this cave, no pun intended, you see that before you is a tiled walkway that leads to a set of stairs with torches on sconces in the walls, spaced evenly going down the shaft.
Are the torches lit?
Yes. They are currently illuminating the tunnel.
Are they like on fire or is it like magic?
You walk up to one and approach it, and you can feel the heat coming off of it, so that denotes it as real fire.
So there's something down here. I mean, there was gonna be like metagaming. There was something down here, but like.
And for your benefit, since last session you weren't here, the Harangon mentioned other people that he knows are on the island. Briefly in passing, which none of you questioned him about, but that was something that was brought up at some point.
Looks like we have company down here. Be on your guard, but don't be immediately hostile.
Okay. Does the fire seem to be like magical in nature, or is it just normal fire?
I mean, can't really tell without doing like a detect magic or anything like that. So,
Okay.
from what you can tell, it looks like fire and it gives off heat. So, it is fire.
Yes, you can't fancy magic.
You said words. I didn't understand any of them.
So, what are you guys doing?
Yes.
I said, yes. You can't cow these people with your fancy magic and say to submission.
I guess we should head in.
I mean, welcoming torches are lit as well.
Guess I'm gonna head in.
Okay. So, walking forward with Flamora now leading the way, you descend this set of stairs, which goes on for like a good couple minutes of just walking downstairs, until the cavern opens up and in front of you is a wide chasm, across which there is a stone bridge, periodically, of course, lit by the torches, and leading up to what looks to be some kind of courtyard on the other side. Down at the bottom of the pit, you can see there's just an ever so slightly orange glow of lava, probably 300 or more feet down.
Oh,
Well, that's got to be toasty. Let's never try to experience that, though.
yeah.
I agree. Would it be prudent, Flora, to cast detect magic periodically as we walk about this place? Never know about magical traps and whatnot.
I need to double check if I have detect. I do have detect magic, so I guess I'll request that. If you guys are willing to wait.
I don't think we are in that much of a rush, so
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Wait for the lives here and just be good. Sometimes pop up.
did anyone else get that?
No.
I said, yeah, sure. I mean, how long is it gonna take?
10 minutes.
So just enough time for any Mo and Joe that lives in the cave to pop up. Got it.
We'll keep a sharp eye. Why that turn British? We'll keep a sharp eye.
There we go. You got colonized there for a second.
I got what?
You got colonized there for a second.
PG!
Wow.
You can't just say that!
It's fine. It's fine. I watched Black Panther over the weekend, so I think I have like a little bit of leeway.
No, you don't.
No!
Anyway.
I'm black, so I don't think I can say that. Oh my god.
I can't believe you went there. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Jesus, I'm sad that I laughed at that. Fucking let's move the fuck on.
Alrighty.
God,
Are you doing
damn.
anything? Are you doing anything while Flamora casts detect magic?
I'm thrown off my game. Hold on.
Are you going to go down? The
Jesus.
courtyard is empty. There's no signs of anything there. I mean, across the way you can kind of make out that it's not in the best of shape. Like there's some wear and tear, but for the most part, the structure on the other side of it is intact. You can kind of make out some other stuff. Like on the far end of it, this small courtyard has a staircase that leads upward, and into the other side of the mountain. And then there's also a big door, a big metal door. It looks like, kind of at the far end of the courtyard. Are you gonna go investigate anything in that time, or are you just gonna park your ass on the stairs and wait?
If Dalavash is impatient, we can go investigate a little bit. And Chance can hang back with Flamora, so Flamora's not alone.
What? I'm not impatient.
I'm saying, then we chill
Okay.
and we can investigate once
Sure.
that's done.
So 10 minutes later, after taking a short little breather,
Why he was doing detect magic ritual casting? Can I also? Well,
can you what?
ritual cast.
Ritual cast what?
Talk with animal thingamajig rubber.
Okay, sure. You can
Yeah.
talk with them about that. Okay, so 10 minutes later, when detect magic is finished, when you open your eyes again and take in what you see, this entire area around you is just ever so faintly glowing with magic. No specific school, but everything around here, from the bridge to the stairs to the torches to the stonework on the other side, even the raw stone and just general cavern around you is rife with magic. It doesn't seem to be coming from the objects themselves. It is more like just an all-encompassing magical aura.
Got it.
Does it show what kind of flavor of magic it is, or is it just general magic?
It doesn't give a school necessarily. It's just general magic aura.
Alrighty then. Onwards, I suppose.
Onwards.
Okay.
Did we lose Chance? Because I haven't heard Chance in a while.
I'm still here. I'm just being quiet.
Okay.
Across, going down the rest of the stairs and across the bridge, you begin to enter the courtyard area. Just what I grabbed before the session started. And this is generally what you see. So there is a pretty much a wide open courtyard, a couple of stone pillars, flanking entranceways here and there. You can see that there are a number of clay pots, wooden crates, sometimes wooden chests, a number of torches lit up. There's a brazier in the center that's lit up next to one that's toppled over. There is the head of a stone statue, which has embedded itself into the ground. Looks relatively humanoid in nature. There is a kind of a tattered red carpet that leads up to that big brass door on the far end of the map there. And then there is the staircase that leads up to the left. And on the first landing there, you can see that there is kind of a plinth with a book that's open and which is lit by a small candle.
Is, besides the candle or anything, is there any, like, how does the candle look like freshly lit? Is there like a pool of wax around it? Do I see anything
You're
around here?
quite a ways away from it. You want to go up and check?
Fuck it.
I'm a phone.
Just going to the center
Where
there.
the
Looking
clay
up at it.
pots
Looking up at it, you can see the candles have been lit for looks like quite a while. There's a rather large collection of wax around the base of the candelabra, which is illuminating the book. You can also see that the book seems to be some kind of ledger. It's written in the language that you aren't familiar with, the one that was written on the pillar outside, which gave you the clue to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are certain words that are written in common and certain words that are written in other languages as well. But the ones that you can make out in common and the ones that you can actually read from other languages are names. There are a series of names.
Is there anything else in the room that can tell me if there's been any recent activity in here, like footprints in dust or like anything else like that?
I mean, apart from the torches being lit, apart from just the general space itself not being completely covered in dust, the tome is not covered in dust. There's a quill and ink next to the book that is not dried out. It seems to have been in use recently.
Recently, what's the most recent?
Not dried. The most recent name is Garrett Remans. It's written in common.
Could you post that for us, my dear fellow?
Yeah, I'll put it in general chat. I'll put it in the Roll 20 chat because we're all there. That's the latest name that was written into the book.
Garrett Robbins. Does that name ring any bells? Like, or is that just completely foreign?
No, there's no way you would know that name. Doesn't.
Can I
ring
go
bells
to the
me.
very beginning of the book and see if there's a name I recognize?
Yeah, sure. If you want to flip back through the pages, going to the very cover.
Yeah, like the first name or names.
So the the first page has a title on it, which is it just says the Eternal Order on it in flowery script, and then it starts the ledger on the next page over. The first name on there, the first name that you that is like recognizably readable on there is Uvik Jatasker, which I will also type in chat.
Okay.
Like that.
Some heckin' names.
That's one. There are a couple that are written in other languages. Do you speak Primordial or Orin at all?
I speak. No, I do not. Not this character.
Does anyone speak Primordial or Orin?
Nope.
Okay.
Looks like that's a no.
Well,
Do you have a-
let's see. There's There's that one, and then there is another dialect which appears to be common script, but it's a different language.
So,
It's not undercommon or anything like that. You've seen undercommon before. It doesn't ring that bell.
If I was here, I could have told you what it was, sir.
Oh no!
Thank
This ghost is
Oh
here.
no! Oh no!
we can never get rid of him. Anyways, but yeah. Flamora, do you still are you still able to cast the spell that translate languages?
Yes, but it'll take me another 10 minutes.
While they were doing that, I was wanting to see if there was I hear any sounds of beasts, if they're chittering or anything.
No, you cannot detect any sounds of anything living other than you five currently in this chamber.
Oh, so that's the thing about insightful discovery. I did not realize I could do. I could actually figure out magical items without needing to attune to them. I forget. I forgot about that part of it.
Yeah, it's like a 1 hour long identify.
So while I was listening to the sounds of the beast and whatnot, I was making my way to the pods. It's like, hey, you guys want to hear a crazy story I heard from this one old elf guy at the adventure guild?
Savanta like perks like raises an eyebrow and like gestures to go on.
He
You can roll it when I tell you to roll it at the end of an hour.
Dalabash pokes at one of the clay pots. He claimed that sometimes he'll smack these and they'll drop money.
Why would people put money in pots?
I don't know, but he was an old adventurer, man. I mean, even for an elf, he had a fucking beard.
Yes. And what is the first sentence of Insightful Discovery? Anyway.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to smash these things to see if that works.
I understand. And we have not gotten to the end. This is still in the first, like, 20 minutes of you guys searching this thing, so give me a minute. I'm letting everyone else do their shit if you're spending an hour.
Recommend not smashing the pots because, well, the candles lit and the torches were lit. I went British again. Fuck! Don't make the joke, VG. Shut up.
European country.
The sound could attract whoever is here, and I don't know if we want to make our presence known yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Besides, you can just look in the pots to see if there is any coinage.
Nah, the old man swear that you have to smash the pots.
We can do that if we can on the way out. How about
An emerald the size of your head.
that? So go for $1 million. I'm kidding.
I mean, if you're looking at the pots and stuff, if you're just kind of looking around, most of those pots over there in the corner have water in them. The crates and barrels to your right on the other wall, when open, seem to have grain and flour. One of the barrels has something that smells like alcohol in it.
You
did
have
I
me at
ask you-
alcohol. I'm taking that.
It's like a 50-gallon barrel. You're not carrying a 50-gallon barrel with you.
Oh, it's gonna be the fucking how much can I lift discussion again. Please no.
I understand that you're strong, but you would be carrying this in both hands, squatting through the rest of the dungeon at like 10 feet per round. So
Is there like a whatchamacallit? Is there like a soot or ash or something I could mark the pot?
do you have? I mean, do you have like Druidcraft or Presto?
No, I have mold earth.
I mean, the pots are made of clay. You can mark the clay, I suppose.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna use mold earth to mark the pot and say I'm coming for you before we leave.
Okay. To be clear, the pots are full of water. The barrel full of wine is made of wood, so you could just carve into that one with a knife or something.
Yeah, I'll do that. I thought you said it wasn't the pots.
No, the pots are water. It's a collection of water.
Yeah, no, then I'm just gonna use a dagger to mark it on the barrel. So take this before you go.
Jensen Mile are casing the place, continuing to do his insightful discovery thing. At the end of the next 10 minutes, are you casting that spell, the Comprehend Languages spell?
Yep.
Okay. Once your spell is finished, the meaning of the text before you becomes apparent. A lot of the names that were written in other languages were also names just written in those languages, and there are quite a few of them left. Several of them that appear and then disappear at some point in the book, but towards the end of the book, you get a host of other names. So I can type all these out all at once.
Oh dear.
This one.
Oh.
And while I'm typing these out, the ledger has their name and then usually about a paragraph of text next to it that sometimes is or isn't decipherable. I'm sorry, it was written in the other language you couldn't understand before. So now you understand it at the very least, and you can see that it is short, like blurbs that appear to be descriptions of journeys that they went on. So it says like departed on journey, went to X place, found something, a book, found a historical artifact, found a dagger, found a weapon, found something, just any random item, or like discovered X about X, like discovered this about X person, names typically you would not recognize at all, and then returned on returned to island on, you know, X date or X time. And the dates that you get are spanning several tens of thousands of years.
Oh,
And they jump around
Jesus.
too. They're not in chronological order. For
Wait a
instance,
second.
you see one name that is dated to have left on a certain day and then returned 100 years later.
okay.
Why would the key? This is chance. This predates the breaking, the shattering, whatever you shall call it. It's
Those are the rest of the names that you can make out.
Colin Pooh, Antonio, Joseph Onek. Hey,
And Rakatha, there's one up top. There's 4 there.
there's also a name,
Joseph on.
an ancestor of the Onyx.
Oh,
That is
When you get that name, who was it that was researching the Onik royal family?
chance.
Any chance?
I think that was actually Strovan.
Was anybody here doing it?
Like I was researching the history, not the
Yes.
royal family directly.
Right, and I gave you a family tree, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. On that family tree, there's a name, Joseph Onik, who was crossed out or disappeared or something. There's no history of him, but he appears in
that-
this book.
That was a name that was stricken from the family tree, if I recall correctly. Fascinating.
the
that,
the
but
title
not-
of this book was what again?
Not only that, I'll say this. Not only that, but Joseph Onik is supposed to be a living descendant. He's supposed to be alive at this moment, according to the family tree.
And according to the family tree, Joseph Onik is still alive, so they've definitely
Oh.
been here. So that's
Weird.
Whoever this is an what's the title of this book again? Or the
The Eternal Order.
so this order been around for tens of thousands of years, survived the shattering, and
is used to this day.
is used to this day. That's kind of
Fascinating.
worrying.
What does the disciple discovery give me on this room? Like
We're not done with an hour yet. And at this point, actually,
Okay.
upward to your left, up the stairs, at around a corner, you hear the sound of a door opening and closing, and you hear 2 sets of voices, kind of muffled and far away. So you can't quite make out what they're saying, but they are getting louder as they get closer to you.
I motion for everyone to like shush and head back and hide.
Okay, where are you going and what are you doing?
Let me get back to the map.
how high is this? How high is the ceiling in here?
Hundreds of feet. It goes. It's a massive interior cavern.
I'm just gonna fly up and like on like a pillar or some fly up with like Moyle pulled chins up there, because people rarely look up. So
Okay, move yourself to where you are on the map, so I can know where you are.
Guess I'm gonna hide. Like, I don't wait.
That's a pillar.
Is this okay? I'm gonna just jump on that.
Okay. Is Dalavash doing anything?
hide.
Jay, are you there? I'm gonna assume no. Okay, I'm gonna have him move somewhere then. You're hiding like a bitch unless you say otherwise. He'll come back here with you. Okay, stealth checks everyone, please.
So- Stealth checks. I should have cast Pass Without a Trace before I did this.
Mhm.
Can I do that real quick or no?
No.
Okay, cool. It's not the best.
Aim.
Oh, we suck. I should have cast Pass Without a Trace.
What's Chance getting and what's Moyle getting?
Oh yeah, I need to roll. Any bonuses for the don't look up trick? I'm assuming no, so it's
Nope.
gonna roll.
Almost stealth check.
Of fucking course.
Wings flap loudly.
Watch Moyle get a higher stealth roll than me. And he has fucking disadvantage. Yep, even with disadvantage, he still got better than Chance. Some fucking how.
So you rolled a 7, but yeah.
It's still better than a fucking 2.
All right. Well,
Wings flap.
while you are scrambling to get up there, and not doing a very good job of hiding it, the voices that you were hearing suddenly stop talking, and there's this tense moment of silence, like this pregnant pause where nothing's happening and everyone's just trying to be quiet. And then from around the corner, with weapons drawn, come 2 individuals.
Yeah.
Get my notes out here. So you see, from your places of hiding, you see the one on the left, or sorry, the one below the other one, the not cat person. The humanoid looking one is a half elf with light brown hair, clean shaven, wearing let's see, open his sheet here, wearing chainmail and carrying a shield and a longsword out in front of him in kind of a defensive position. And next to him, also descending the stairs, is a catfolk in studded leather armor, holding two swords that are kind of bent forward, kind of like the reverse of a curved sword. They're bent forward rather than backwards. And he's holding those out in front of him. Immediately as they turn the corner, since they are on a higher platform, they look up and see both Chance and Moyle. They see Flamora. And then the humanoid elf one, scanning the rest of the room, looks behind the pillar and sees Tavanta's horns poking out. And they both address you. The half elf first says, "You don't have to hide. We know where you're at. You're really, really bad at it."
Not the specialist. I'll
Of
step
course.
out.
What do you want? Who are you? And how did you get here?
Adventurers to discover a airship.
That was in and of
Wait,
itself a
we're trying to
sentence.
hide?
Well, I made you hide because you weren't here to do it. So yes. And you actually rolled the highest out of everyone, but you still didn't hide from them.
Okay, in that case, I'd like to change my change my response to. I told you guys are horrible at hiding.
I know. That's why we usually use magic to help us.
Eh.
Anyways, yeah, I addressed the 2.
They kind of look at each other and say, the cat folk says, No one has managed to find us for quite some time. And you just
Well,
happened
we are
to come
quite-
here on an airship, despite the storm.
We
Well,
are quite stubborn.
Yeah, we kind of braved the storm.
Introductions, perhaps.
oh, good idea.
Of course. But let's do this, shall we? The catfolk and the half-elf, still with the weapons drawn, descend the stairs to the center of the room. But they're
Mhm.
right about there.
I will come over here and just about face with them.
You can tell that they're relatively trained, because they are keeping themselves at an angle to you where they can see all of you at once, and they kind of have each other's back. And the catfolk puts away one of his odd-looking swords, and
I gotta say, how many catfolk have we seen planet side since we
you've seen a couple.
uncommon but not super rare?
Yeah, they're I think you've only ever seen maybe two, ever. And this was probably a traveling merchant, and it would have caught your eye, but it wasn't necessarily like oh hey, there's something until.
So
think about
probably
it.
rare on the continent we're on, but not rare worldwide.
I mean, we didn't really see Ericocra till we went to the right place, so.
He reaches into his armor and pulls out something on a leather cord and grips it in his hand and begins to speak under his breath, and you watch as the dust in a 15-foot radius area, which I can also draw right about here, begins to swirl up around and form this magical circle of kind of glimmering, swirling sand. He says to you, step into the circle and we will determine the truth of what you say. And do not try and resist, because I will know.
I will do so voluntarily.
Oh, is this a circle? I'm gonna make can I make an Arcana to try and guess the spell?
Sure. Yeah, easily enough. It's Zone of Truth.
Oh, Zone of Truth.
I will willingly fail to save.
Indeed, same.
Okay. What the hell are they doing?
It's a zone of truth. It's basically you step into the circle, and unless you resist the magic, you can't willingly tell a lie.
So, do you want me to step in here or what?
If you want, I'm not going to stop you.
I will.
It's just pointedly not going into the circle.
I will speak for my party. They do not. If that's what everyone wishes.
Sure.
We will have everyone in the circle, if you please. And you see he's pointing his sword at Chance now. Like, hey, get in the circle.
Chance.
Think of.
Come on.
Hey, mind not pointing that thing at my employer?
You have entered my home. I will point my sword wherever I wish it to be pointed. I pray that I do not have to use it. Now, please.
Your home as a pre-breaking ruin that was behind a sealed door.
Chance, this is a matter of trust. This is a group of people who have obviously operated out of this place for a while. Look at that. They live here. This is about trust. Come on.
Fine, but Moyle stays out. That is non-negotiable.
Very well. Do you enter and do you try and resist the spell? Yes, no?
I want to, but I get the feeling I'm gonna catch 7 shades of shit in game and out of game, so I'm just gonna go with it.
Okay.
I mean, you could always just dismiss Moyle.
Oh no, I mean Moyle's not getting in a circle. He's staying out.
I'll be right
He's
back.
fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they insist.
Oh no, he's just he's asking if Chance is going to resist the zone of truth.
What even was would the save even be? Wisdom?
Yeah.
Charisma.
So, charisma saving throw for Zone of Truth.
But he did say he would know if you resisted.
Excellent.
Before
Now-
I step in, I will say, no, I'm doing this under duress, and am not enthused about this.
Very well. All we wish to ask is a couple questions. And then we can decide what to do from there. We mean you
That
no
is-
ill will, so long as you do not mean us any. But we do not know for certain unless you step in.
That is completely fair. Ask away.
So once Chance steps in and everyone's refused the check, you are no longer allowed to tell a lie as long as you are in the radius. He asks you, the half elf, what are your names? Each one of you, starting with you, and he points to Dalavash. Dalavash, I'm assuming, says his name because he's wandered off somewhere. You, pointing at Tavanta.
Devanta Simble.
Fantastic. You, Flamora.
Lamar Silton.
Fantastic. And you, sir, the reluctant one.
Chance tries to speak a second, and it stops, and he goes, fair weather.
All right. Well then.
Like, Chance notably tries to say chance, it just doesn't work.
Well, welcome. What is your group called?
Scholar's March.
Very well. I am Garrett Remans, and this is my companion Rakatha. It appears
Names were in the
you've-
book.
It appears we've come across each other as we were about to go out, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anymore.
Apologies for the inconvenience.
What did you come to this island for? It
We
most
are
likely
searching
caused you
for-
great duress. What did you come here for?
Did you not hear me?
No.
We are searching for ruins of some sort. Something. We discovered the location of this place via another a abandoned tower, and we wish to investigate.
And what led you here?
I mean,
Normally, people avoid this place because of the obvious, but something drew you to this location, this island. Something drew you to travel through that awful storm on your very own and survive.
The red key.
I just pointed at Chance that he hired me, so I'm here. That's my reason.
You're gonna have to be
That's
more
not-
specific than that. There's a lot of keys.
I just looked at Chance.
Chance reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out the red key.
We found this in the aforementioned tower and have been following its trail.
Ooh, interesting. Well, there's something that the curator's going to want to see. And did you know that we were going to be here? Were you looking specifically for any of us?
No,
No.
honestly,
No.
thought the place could be abandoned or filled with some other manner of beast.
Wait, they were going to be beast here?
We thought there were going to be.
Ah, shit. I should have prepared more weapons.
And if we offer no harm to any of you, will you harm any of us in return?
No.
No.
But that
What?
is conditional if you offer harm.
Does that include being stupid while I'm drunk? Because I can't guarantee my drunk self.
As you are now.
Gods above, the devils below.
I'm being honest.
As we are now, no.
We can tell.
Though if we reserve the right if we feel threatened to defend ourselves, of course.
Of course.
Beyond that,
Right.
no, we don't wish to harm you.
I mean,
But-
my question is whether this is work.
Unless you mean to. Is this yours home, I assume?
This is our home. It has been for a very, very long time.
Oh, great! We stumbled on a secret society. Great. No, that always goes well.
Well,
Like,
more or
secret
less, yes.
society.
Well, I mean, we're assuming a lot, eh?
At this point,
They ha-
seeming satisfied with the answers they've gotten, they drop the circle of truth. The zone of truth. I drew.
Devonta,
over
they
it.
have Devonta, they have the names in an ancient pre-breaking book. I don't need to be a history nerd to know that screams secret society.
That doesn't mean it's bad, is what never mind. We'll talk later.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it tends to not go well for some party involved.
You can be the judge of that.
Oh, I'm sorry for my associate.
If you wish to explore this place, we have no quarrel with that as long as you meet with the rest of us first. And know who we are before you make your decision.
Completely understandable. Please lead on.
They both sheathe their weapons. Garrett puts his shield on his back and says, "Alright, follow me. Let's
Yeah.
go meet the rest."
If you wouldn't mind entertaining a question of mine, I noticed a name in the book that stood out.
Oh yeah? Which one?
A certain Joseph Onik.
Oh, so we're then. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you want to meet him? He's upstairs.
Then, you say?
Yeah, then. Again, questions to be answered later, but you should probably come with me. We'll explain.
I have one question before we go.
There's no bathroom on this floor. It's all upstairs.
No, it's not that. What do you make that alcohol out of? Because it smells really good.
No, we don't. I think that one's a vintage, an elven vintage, maybe. I don't know. Yuvik brought that one in. I'm not exactly sure which one. Anyway,
Remember, on the ledger, it's never mind.
the Eternal Order
That's-
is the title that was on the book. The Eternal Order.
Oh,
So my question about my drunken self, am I still accountable, or I mean, whatever you said?
Don't drink right now.
Okay.
We have ways of fixing that. Don't worry about it. Anyway, again, questions answered upstairs. Let's go. And
let's
lovely
go.
gestures for you to join him, and you guys move to an upstairs portion. Heading upstairs. I don't have another map for this. This is just in case you decided to fight them for some reason. Upstairs, in another room, you guys kind of enter into this large, what looks to be a dining hallway. There's a fairly long table with 12 seats, kind of spaced throughout there on the table itself. It's everything here looks relatively put together. Like it doesn't look necessarily old or weathered or broken down or anything like that. Just the surrounding like temple itself or castle, fortress, whatever you want to call this, has some wear and tear on it. But the furnishings at the very least appear to be relatively new. Sitting at the dining room table, across from each other, having an arm wrestling contest kind of over the table, is an individual dressed in chainmail with a tabard over it that has the Onyx royal crest, which you are very familiar with. He has kind of like short, dark hair and like a Tom Selleck-esque mustache. And he's arm wrestling with another dude who is the poster boy for like a Vikings TV show. He's got like the side shaven hair,
One, there's
blonde.
like 3.
Yeah, like whatever. Pick your poison. Vikings or yeah, just think like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like he looks like that. He doesn't look too far from Dalavash actually, but he's wearing like furs and leathers, like heavy furs and leathers. But his chest is like mostly bare and exposed. He's wearing like leather pants, thick traveling boots, definitely made for winter. He's got his hair shaven on the sides, and he's got like a red, like a claw mark tattoo that goes on both sides of his head, from the back of his head down the front of his face. And he has this kind of like longish blonde beard that is tied up into a braid with a little silver like adornment that kind of holds it all together at the very end. And they're having an arm wrestling contest with each other at the moment. And when you two enter, the mustached gentleman looks up and sees the new people, and in that momentary distraction, the Nordic guy wins his contest and says, "Ha! I told you so. I am still the strongest there is, Joseph."
Oh my god, he just made fucking Balgrove.
Of course. I'll not stand idly by while a dragon burns my hold and slaughters its people.
That's uncanny.
Anyway. So,
I'm just picturing that you practiced that voice in front of the mirror for a long time.
no, just only when they say things in Skyrim, and I have like 2,000 hours in Skyrim. So, just about that long. Joseph,
And no,
with
I didn't
the
like sort of.
the individual who he called Joseph, kind of raises a cocked eyebrow and looks at Garrett and Rakatha and says, "Well, it seems we have guests then." At this point, the Nordic-looking one looks over and says, "So we do. Welcome to the Great Hall, ladies and gentlemen."
Am I to assume you, sir, and I point at the dude with the Onyx crest, the royal family, are Joseph Onyx?
I see my reputation has preceded me.
How much? There's time for questions, yes, but there is something pertinent. How have you been in the world in the past couple of years?
Oof. You're going to have to be a little more specific about what's going on. Give me like a current event that's happened, and maybe I can tell you.
The king died.
I was going to get to that a lot more. Fuck. I don't.
You're going to have to be a little more specific.
What was his fucking name? I'm bad with names. Like I think I have the name written down.
Did I give you the fucking handout with the...
The father of Bram and...
Red Cat and Ursula?
Yeah, the father
Well,
of Bram and Ursula Onyx has passed.
Mistra. Yes,
Mistra.
my great nephew, several times removed. Yes, okay. All right.
Okay. He's human, right? Looks human.
Yeah.
How
Looks to be-
old
to
does
be
this
human.
guy look?
He looks to be like in his late 40s, perhaps. Actually, I have a picture of him. I have a picture of all these people, which I'll start putting in the general chat, or I'll put it in the characters chat because we have that.
By the way,
Who
anybody
do?
caught that reference?
Yes.
Yes. I don't think
Uh.
anyone alive would have missed that reference.
Put it in. I have a different-
Well, people are gamers.
It's around here somewhere. So here's.
Every time you do that, it just reminds you of the chicka chicka. Wow, wow.
Yeah. So that one's Garrett. This one is Joseph Onyx. These are
Handsome.
kind of I could look at this on my laptop. This one
That
is-
mustache is imposing.
That's the Viking guy. should have Rakatha. And there's Rakatha.
Grand cat.
Mhm. Anywho's it. All right. What was the question again? I forgot.
He's certainly
I
looking
was
for
just
the
trying
area.
to inform you that he has passed. I was letting you know that that happened.
Because he asked about the current event.
Yes, I forgot what question you asked though. The summoner.
I'm more just wondering how you look so young for someone who's supposed to be so old.
That question, I'm sure, is about to be answered by all of them.
Let's see. Someone who's much younger than they look, or than they should be. A book that says Eternal Order. I think I can connect the dots.
Perhaps you can connect some of them. We are afforded certain privileges for being part of this, our eternal order.
Hmm.
Savanta will remember this.
So, I assume that you have already met Garrett and Rakatha. This is Yuvik across from me, and I am Joseph Onik.
Savanta Simbler, lovely to meet you.
Now, what are you here for? Is the question. At this point, Garrett pops up and says, "Well, it seems that they have an item that led us here, and it's another one of the keys."
Let us.
To which Joseph cocks an eyebrow again. Interesting. Then they will want to speak to the curator as soon as possible, I'm sure. But in the meantime, why don't we answer any questions you might have about us in particular? And the order in general I can describe a little bit, but I must admit at this point I am the newest member, so.
I understand. Then you, sir, and I look towards, I think you said Yuvik?
Yuvik, yes.
How, I guess by your previous question, you don't know how long you've been here, but the ledger that we looked at spanned over thousands and thousands of years pre the shattering.
Right, well, time gets a little fucky when you're working with the Eternal Order, but I was the first
And
one, that's for sure.
I saw. So, do you know what's the? I have so many questions.
What does the Eternal Order do?
Recover artifacts. Sorry.
Well, that's part of it. We are collectors of truth and preservers of truth throughout history. We among the Order know, as well as many others do, that history can be tainted by those who write it. We are discoverers and preservers of the truth, of what happens, the true history of this world.
And who's to say that you haven't?
We are neutral observers only. Granted, we are provided with ways to defend ourselves, as I'm sure you see, but in general, we do not get involved in the conflicts of mankind and only report on those things as we see them.
A
Correcting
neutral
any
party is
bias.
better than an evil party. I'll take it.
Written words bad.
It took
This
me
is
a while
why.
to get over the bias myself, but when presented with the perspective of the other members here, what we do is important. It's important to have.
Expect that both me, Flamora, and Chance here would love to see the true history of the world. I went British again. Fuck!
Well, well, you're in for the long haul then, my friend. The true history of this world spans millions and millions of years. And,
I'm interested in the at least last 1,000 to 2,000.
well, in that time things were a little muddy, but we can provide some perspective. Are there any specific events that you would wish to know about?
The breaking.
Anything about the moon?
The what?
The moon. There's a fuck off tree on there. I wonder if they have anything on that.
Oh, you might want to talk to my shaman then. Well, if you ever go visit.
No offense, but your shamans don't know jack shit about the fucking moon. I'll tell you that much for sure.
Hey,
What do you know about the moon?
I've been there a handful of times. It's kind of boring, really.
Again.
There's not much to
Moon is
do.
I asked.
Moon is where the ancestors dwell.
Sure. That's one way to look at it, but not your ancestors.
The fuck do you mean?
Well, think about it. I mean, if your ancestors were on the moon, wouldn't you also be on the moon? Yeah, you
No,
were stuck on the
because
planet there, buddy.
Ancestors, when they pass on, that's where they go. They dwell on the moon.
Savanta is keeping decidedly quiet.
Sure they do. You just keep going there, buddy.
There was a great quake, and that wrecked apart the world, and the ancestor went to the moon. That's what we've been told.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but you've got the gist of it, I'm sure.
What's so complicated about that?
Oh, there's a lot of things, but you don't need to worry about that at the moment. Joseph's like, stop being condescending, Yuvik, just because they don't know as much as you do.
I have a question about the core.
Okay.
When and how did it form?
At the same time the breaking did, as far as anyone knows. That is the one part of muddied history we're not entirely sure about, but there's well, the breaking happened and then the core happened. That's pretty much how things went. Anything else past that, not a lot of people know for certain what's happened, even we don't. And well, looking into it is not exactly something that is in our purview to do at the moment.
Savanta just nods. Okay. Have you been to what's it called? Is it like, it's not Cathedral Island, I believe, correct?
It's Cathedral Island. That's the place where Celiath hangs out.
Yeah. Have you been to a place called Cathedral Island? Met a man named Celiath?
No, but his name does ring a bell. I haven't met the person. I don't think any of the others
Yeah.
have. Ricardo says, not. I have not met this person, Celiath. Joseph certainly has not, because he's our newest member, but we've been curating his quests for the better part of a few years now. Garrett, who has been kind of hanging on the side, just says, "Oh, I knew him. I know of him. I haven't been around him quite a while."
Did you know him before or after the breaking?
Oh, after. I met him at one point. Before their little group was a thing. We talked for a little bit.
Before the people discovered him. I see.
Well, before the group was formed, at the very least. We talked for a little bit. He was nice. He was lonely. But that changed.
I've been asking many questions. Friends, do you have any other questions for these?
Something about the moon, I suppose. Something was asked about the moon.
I guess. How does it have a buck off tree on it?
Oh, that one's easy. There's druids up there. There's the druids, a whole circle or whatever that protects the tree and lives in it.
So, what Talavash said wasn't utter bullshit. People went to the moon during the break-in.
Chance is suddenly very glad that I was standing in the zone of truth right now.
Roll a deception check.
Wait, I thought we were out of zone of truth.
That's why
We
asking
are.
That's why I'm asking for a deception check.
We left the zone of truth, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No. The reason you're even getting a check and just saying when you go to say that nothing fucking happens is because
I'm confused on what's going on, but hey, 9.
Oh.
It depends on who's looking.
1.
I'm so confused.
I'm confused as well. I don't know what the fuck Jess is talking about.
2.
well, if we were in the zone of truth, you can't lie, so you wouldn't have been able to make this check. You would have just tried to speak, and then nothing would come out.
Yeah, but we weren't in a zone of truth.
I know.
Yeah.
The point was, I was saying it's a good thing we aren't still in the circle.
Oh,
That was the whole thing I was trying to say. It's a good thing we aren't in the zone of truth anymore.
Yeah, when you said
didn't you
that,
just say that?
He did.
you did say that. However, but it's a good thing did not catch to the mic. So
I
we only
guess.
heard the zone of truth. That was it. That's why we were confused.
Yeah.
Relax. There's a reason why I asked you to roll a deception check. Yuvik and Joseph share a glance.
Yeah, ancestors up in the moon. They take care of tree.
All right. Well, when you want to stop pretending, you just let us know, and we'll keep it on the down low. Anyway,
Who is he talking to when he
Well,
says this?
you.
Okay.
I have not told a single lie or a fib.
I know. I mean, I can tell it's not malicious, but like at the very least, you should be truthful with us, or at least try your hardest.
I kind of just this isn't like malicious or anything, but I just very quick glances to Flamora and Dalavash, and then I give him a quick nod, and then I give him like a slow nod, and we move on.
Good. Now that we've reached an understanding, yes, there are people on the moon apparently who live there and have been living there for, at this point, about 1,000 years.
Oh shit.
Yes. Only very few people know about this at this point. So, I mean, not like there's anything you can do about it, but eventually people will figure it out. So.
I'm more wondering, if you're supposed to be the guardians of truth and the true history, how much have you actually shared that with the rest of the world? Because this is the first time
They
hearing of the
don't.
Eternal Order.
They protect it. They don't share it.
Yes, that is
Well, then your existence is pointless.
for the curator to decide. He has shared his knowledge with the world on multiple occasions, and each time the world was not ready for it. So, he will choose the time when it is. At some point. Whenever that is. What use is a library if people are not allowed to peruse it? Of all of all things, you'd think. This is
Chance
not a horde.
visibly scoffs. Like this dude is like, it's like this fucking guy.
At this point, Tavanta just kind of does a little Chance! Be polite. For fuck's sake. We are guests in these people's home. Saying that their existence is pointless and scoffing at them is not polite.
What point is history if it's not used to teach the next generation and teach the people? What's the point?
How
He
about
just
you?
said they
that-
don't accept the history.
I mean,
If-
I
If
sort
you
of
have
agree.
an opinion like that, keep it to yourself besides being rude.
I mean, I sort of agree with the boss here. I mean, my tribe, we pass down our history, or I mean, we don't write it down because, like they said, writing down is stupid. It could get lost and shit like that. We just pass it down orally. We tell that around the ceremonies and the coming of age. You know,
I understand that we may have that opinion, but going around to people we barely know in their own house and saying your existence is pointless is not exactly a good way to curry favor. It's not about being right or wrong, it's about being polite and not an ass. For fuck's sake.
yeah.
I mean, hey, he's not wrong. The only thing is that when you give people knowledge, you also give them power. So selective use is, generally speaking, a better method of dissemination.
Well, yes,
And if you
there's the
want my
phrase.
opinion,
No.
hold on. If you want my opinion, your oral traditions are no better than writing it down. Depends on the person telling it. And they can change and embellish as much as they want to, and people accept it as the truth. So, ask yourself how truthful or how much things have changed next time you hear a bedtime story.
Tavanta just kind of like breathes for a second and just calms himself down.
We understand. We've been down this road many times with many different people. This is not something that's new to us, and it's also not something we have a say over. We work for the curator, and the curator decides what to do with the knowledge we gain. And in return, we get some perks. It's actually not a bad way to live.
Tavanta nods.
Well, philosophical differences aside, I will admit I did jump the gun calling it pointless. But I will stand firm when I say, as a historian, and Chance looks Tavanta dead in the fucking eyes. The idea of withholding history, the true history, is anathema to my entire field of study.
Tavanta returns a look, but it's a look as if he's looking down on his kid. And then turns back to his the hosts.
Well, is there anything else you want to ask?
Nothing that it seems you all can answer, because most of my questions revolve around this thing, and according to those two, I need to asking the curator is the way to ask.
We need to ask the curator. But I have questions for you, but I would rather ask them in private, if you don't mind. Things to my personal study.
Sure. Well, if you wish to talk to the curator, I can bring you to him. He's,
Please and thank you.
should still be in his chambers, I believe. Back down the way you came. Come on. And Uvik gets up from his chair, finishes off his mead, and begins to head back down the staircase where you came from.
Go up to Yurik.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you have some more of that stuff?
We've got plenty. Don't worry about it. But for now, just hang tight. Trust me, there'll be time for that later.
I just feel so fucking bad about because I remember that whole conversation I had. But it's like this is just one thing I just can't budge on.
Moving
Like
back
this in
down the
particular is
staircase.
on
Moving
that
back
red
down the
button.
staircase.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, moving back down the staircase. I'm assuming everyone's going with them, right?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Cool. You go up to that big brass door that was part of the main foyer there. And Yuvik takes one of the knockers and bangs on the door twice really loudly, and it echoes throughout the chamber. And it says, "Curator, we've got more guests who wish to meet you in discussion about the key." And then, after a couple seconds of pause, the door begins to open inward, and you see.
That's not ominous at all.
You see. Once I put your tokens on the map for you guys to actually see.
We love it. Holy ass.
Holy, my God.
You're here with Yuvik.
Well, this is a not small amount of riches.
No touching.
Yes, you see.
I wasn't going to. I
I'm
can
not
make an
talking to you.
observation.
I'm not talking to you.
I think he meant me.
Yes.
You see in front of you piles and piles of gold and jewels and gems interspersed with chests of various items. You can see scrolls poking out from between the different coins. Looking at your feet, you can see that some coins are different than other coins, even though they're all pretty much gold. You can see that the walkway in front of you on the sides is also embroidered with gold, and more of the language that you were unable to understand going up and down, like inscribed into the stonework in gold, like inlaid in there. And at the top of this set of stairs, you can see a massive golden sarcophagus, just shining in the light that is provided by the torches spaced throughout the room. Which then begins to, the lid of the sarcophagus begins to slide off to the side, and it looks like it should fall off with how far it's sliding off, but it continues to hover in midair, and out of the center of the hole, you see a massive lion's paw come out and lift this creature with it.
Oh wow.
This creature.
Oh
which
my
has-
God.
Let me get a
The-
little zoom in so I can see the face.
Yeah, the heavily bearded humanoid face here. I'll make it very big for you so you can kind of see. The heavily bearded humanoid face, eyes glowing blue with energy. The fur which has almost like tattoo-like designs that go down its body, and a pair of massive eagle's wings that extend out from his back.
Wow. That's all I got to say is wow.
He comes and regards you all and hops down from the plinth and begins to slowly move down the stairs until he's standing in front of you, this imposing figure. And he speaks up and says, "Well, to what do I owe the pleasure?"
I haven't been drinking already, right?
No, we aren't saying this.
Okay, just making sure.
Hello, my name is Devante Blair. These are my friends Philomora, Chance, Moyle, and Dalavesh. We are an adventurers group called the Scholar's March, and we were led here by a key we found in a ruin.
Yes, so this is the first time. Very well. I am Curator Razius. I am the guardian of this sanctum, its wealth, and its knowledge. and I am the patron of the Eternal Order.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Indeed.
Yuvik says, they seem to have brought with them a key, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been looking for one like it for quite a while. You guys talk to him. I'll be outside. And he pushes past you out the door and into the foyer.
I kind of look over to Chance and like gesture him forward.
Chance will step forward and produce the key.
Ah, yes. The Key of Embers. I've been looking for this for quite a while. I have one of its sisters with me. I'm assuming that is what you came here for. Though not what you expected to find.
Absolutely not. This is quite a welcome surprise.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So tell me, and please, do speak true. What do you plan on using the key for? How much do you know of its history and what it was used to do?
I don't know much of its purpose, but I actually wait before I speak. I look to Chance and like kind of give him a look like, "Are we doing this?"
Well, if you'll allow me, Tavonta, because I feel like I might know more about at least the immediate history of this thing.
I gesture forward.
Chance will pull out will set the key back in his pocket and pull out his like book of notes. Yes, he has a full-on notebook. Let's see. That was over this. Here we are. What the fuck? I know I wrote this down. Where the fuck? This is both Chance trying to find it and me. Okay. As I understand it, a archmage by the name of Raylas Quayland once possessed this key. He was apparently a thing known as a warden, with the title The Flame of Ambition, which, Key of Embers, that makes sense now. Jotting that down. And, apparently they failed to stop whatever caused the breaking.
And what of you? What do you wish to use this key for?
Or
Or do you
as
even
much
know
as
its
something.
purpose?
If I had to make an educated guess, might have something to do with a place called Gurdagnia, though don't know much about it aside from the loose translation to Shadow Prison.
Very good.
Wait,
I can
we're
fill
going to
in a
prison?
couple of those gaps for you. Guldagnir is a prison. It's a prison that holds the most dangerous magic users and magical creatures to have ever existed on Rhea up until this point in time. It also holds, within its vault, a large stash of their contraband, which was confiscated and deemed too dangerous to be allowed into the world, as it was, at least by the wardens of Guldagnir. They fancied themselves the judge, jury, and executioners of many rogue magical peoples and beasts. At least until they were suddenly presented with a more cunning foe than they could have ever imagined. And when they realized their mistake and their arrogance, they slunk off in shame and drifted into obscurity, leaving behind their artifacts and their keys to it, which were scattered to the winds and lost to history until
So
you
these
found
keys could
yours
open.
and until I found mine. And he uses a clawed paw to move his beard aside, and underneath the thick mane of hair, you can see another key, this time with like a white diamond-looking gem hanging from a thick rope on his neck.
I have a question.
Yes?
Do you know the names of the rest of these wardens?
Yes, I'm familiar with all of them. I believe I've even met a couple.
Would you mind sharing them with us?
I thought I gave you those names a long time ago.
I do.
I'm
He did. You did. That
Yes. Well, you're already
You did.
aware of-
I just want to make sure. I just want to.
Yes, you're already aware of Raidus Quinlan. He was the lead, the self-appointed leader of the group, the catalyst for their creation. Then there is the owner of my key, who was Luth Thulfan. Kind of a loner individual, really. Preferred to work towards his own ends for the most part, but was convinced by Quayland and the others to join their little band. Then there is Sir Nigolod, the ologist. She was, I believe, if I remember correctly, she was the one who provided you your home.
I just like cock my head a little bit.
I'm sorry?
What?
And the
I'm
final,
sorry. What?
and the final, Elduin Kurunir, Queen of the Sea Elves. At least she was before the breaking happened. That is how you spell their names.
The fuck is a C?
Oops, I typed Elduin twice. Fourth one's supposed to be Raelus.
well, that sounds there's that cat on his bag. Appreciate it.
I looked at a chance. I'm just like, don't give away more than what was.
If memory
Just
serves, it was.
Just gonna raise my eyebrow and go back to the book.
If memory serves, it was only Ildwin who ever sought my counsel. Though Thulfan left his key with me in an oddly trusting manner.
So these keys open a prison, which I don't think I want to open, because that sounds just bad. What was the evil?
Something referred to as the Dark One by the Wardens, at the very least.
Yeah.
I was wondering if
He was one who they
in-
could not contain, and who they failed in their duty to deal with. The others inside the prison are varied and have been locked there far beyond their sentences in many cases, seeing as the wardens and their keys to the cells were lost.
is Dark One the one that caused the breaking?
Yes, it is relatively commonly known that some dark entity caused this breaking of the world to happen not but 1,000 years ago.
Do you know how?
I'm afraid I do not. This event took all by surprise and only gave the people of this planet enough time to preserve what they could. And what they could was only a few thousand, unfortunately. Millions and millions of peoples died that day. Their souls and their histories lost to the Dark One.
Is the Dark One still alive?
We don't even know who he was, is, or will be. That is
Are the keys
one
only
of the
purpose to...
mysteries that I have spent my existence attempting to unravel. But finding that period, that information, would cost me too much. And so I have abstained I have abstained from going to where I know the answers are. And also, I have abstained from sending this Eternal Order to do the same.
So you know where to look then?
It is not a question of where, Toronto. It is a question of when.
Do these keys only function to open the prison, or can they find the key of embers was buried in a was found in a tower? Could this other key lead to a similar tower, perhaps with more information?
Each of the keys was meant to lead to one of the others, so that if any one holder needed to find their partner, they could. That being said, it was not a two-way street. Each key leads to a different one. I happen to know that this key that I hold around my neck, the Key of Squalls, leads to its sister, somewhere buried under the sands of the Ashen Expanse in Arival. And your key leads to mine.
Understood.
Presumably, the key under the sands of the Ashen Expanse leads to the fourth, somewhere out there in the world, which, as of yet, I and my order have been unable to determine.
What would be the purpose of garnering all four, besides just opening the prison?
That is the purpose. The keys were meant to find each other and to open the door to the prison known as Guldagnir, and to access its most inner chambers.
It sounds like it's better off that these keys remain scattered.
It is a matter of perspective.
I
Depends
suppose.
on the intent of those who hold the keys. Should they wish to be pilferers, tomb robbers? Should they wish to become the wardens again? Should they wish only to explore and learn and gain knowledge? That is the true mark of, well, the true mark of morals, really. If you were to find and gain all four keys, ask yourselves, what would you do? With a prison full of ne'er-do-wells, powerful magic users, and artifacts, would you risk the dangers that are held within?
I would scatter them again.
I know you smart folks are talking, but I just gotta say one thing. Why? It ain't worth the fucking danger.
Many people
I agree.
seek fortune or power through other means, and usually items of the caliber that are held within the vaults of Guldak Mira, they're easy button to getting it.
Yeah, but sometimes, as my shaman says, sometimes the price just ain't worth it.
I agree.
These are wise words, and you would do well to listen to them, but not all share the wisdom of a tribal shaman.
Only fools seek the easy path to glory and wealth.
Simply put, I would catalog all of what was in the prison and share it.
It wouldn't be worth it to potentially unleash all of what's held within. I would scatter the keys again.
Just whatever
Well,
it's in there, it's
if you
probably gone
if you
insane.
listen to his words, you would have heard the line "well past the sentences."
Do you
So-
think they
so-
would be just because? I,
Well,
So do you-
that sounds like the intent was to let them out at some point.
do you think they would be of, you know, you don't think they'd be quite ill-tempered to know that they were well past their date to be let out? You don't think they would have a malicious intent?
Oh, quite likely.
And what if maybe releasing one accidentally releases something far worse, something that was meant to be kept there forever?
Well, us going into the prison doesn't release them. It
You
just
don't-
lets us walk in. Well, I can still listen to the words being said. By how it's been phrased by, I'm afraid I don't have your name aside from caretaker. What was it? What was it? Keeper? Oh,
Curator
terrible
Razius.
names.
He introduced
Uh,
himself as Curator Razius.
Thank you. I'm both Hunter and fucking, and Chance bad names.
Yep.
Understand.
Going off of what was been said here, I doubt Curator Razius here would phrase things in a way that is less than truthful after asking us to be truthful. So it's very much it's very according to that. I can go off of those words. The keys have access to the prison and can be the keys to the cells, but they aren't the same thing at the same time. Going into the prison is not the same as opening a cell. That's how the words are phrased here.
Yeah,
Are you-
I get what he's saying, but hear me out. How long they have been locked in there?
As of now, some have been locked in there for over 5,000 years.
5,000 years. Okay, I'm bad with math, but that's more than 10 years. In my tribe, a lot of things break down in 10 years. There's no promise that all the locks are still working. They might have gotten out. Just saying.
Well, if
And
they
the
have managed to
keys-
get out of the cells at this point, there's also they'd probably have access to that contraband, which is likely powerful magical artifacts, and thus would have probably escaped the prison anyways.
Actually, since the only way to exit and enter the prison would be the keys,
Well, according to the phrase here, the only way to open the cells are also the keys. So by your
There's a
logic,
lot-
if one's fallible, the rest are also fallible.
the problem is we have a lot of ifs and maybes and theories.
And yet not a lot of answers, do you?
That's the case for
Absolutely.
most studies throughout history. Anytime something new is always theorized until you actually figure it out.
No, it's like that one cat story my elder told me. Until
What
we
was it?
until we see the cat in the box, we don't know if it's alive or dead.
And there's only one way to find out.
Or
But opening
Elder-
it,
Elder
But opening
Schrodinger
that-
was right about that one.
opening it could mean a lot of bad things because like a cat could be really pissed off and try to scratch your face off. That's what happened to me at least. So just saying.
That tells me a
Basically-
lot about you.
the risk sounds far greater than the reward. Sometimes I think, at least this is my opinion, knowledge should remain lost sometimes.
But with that said, I think we should still get the key. Hear me out. As I said, if the things are breaking down for over 5,000 years, if they start using that as their advantage of, going in and out from that place to raid the world, we are going to still need a way to get in. So don't use it. Just get the keys just in case.
Are you
Devonta,
suggesting? Are you suggesting we become the wardens?
Uh, what's that mean?
A
Or
warden
jailers.
is someone who keeps watch over prisoners.
More like a secret keeper. That's what my tribe had.
Sure.
Devonta,
Speak.
I'm trying to think of how to word this, because I'm not the most personable, and in a topic such as I'd at least want to be concise. What you have just said, in regards to some knowledge should be lost, flies in the face of everything I hold dear and everything I have strived to achieve my entire life. You could not have said something so appalling to me if you tried.
Let me put it like this. You heard our friends earlier say that knowledge is power. And that is very true. That is incredibly true. The reason we can even talk right now is through the passing of knowledge. Not all knowledge, and therefore not all power, is good. I would rather the knowledge of the bad things be kept away.
And how can we defend against them?
And also, how would you say what is good or bad? Are you gonna make yourself the arbiter of what is correct knowledge and what is incorrect knowledge?
There's
That is
no
a
correct-
that is a very short
There
step.
are things that
Savanta.
are inherently evil in this world, and things are inherently good. You will not we've you who summons a devil should know that that fact is true. There are things that are inherently evil in this world.
Yes, but you know how I summon him? The same magic that could be used to summon an angel, some extra planar being. It is knowledge until it is used. And in by your logic that knowledge is power, if everyone holds the power, it's kind of difficult to take advantage of it on someone else. It is a very, very common thing in history where if someone learns something and they keep it secret, they will that knowledge will wind up either being used by the person keeping it secret to take advantage of some other person or some other thing to the benefit of themselves above everything else, than otherwise. As you said,
As long as there
What-
is free will, as long as there is free will, there are people who will take advantage of that knowledge.
yes, but there's less advantage to take if everyone else also holds that same knowledge. It only becomes ability to be an advantage if it's not readily accessible.
Everyone in the world could know the spell to raise the dead. It takes one person to go do it. If everyone in the world knows the power to summon the king of the nine hells themselves, and only one person does it, then the king of the nine hells is in this realm and destroying everything.
That's a bit of a false equivalency, and here's why. I actually do have a reasoning for this. One, if everyone knows the method of summoning, they know what it would cost, know what it would take, and know the downsides.
You can't
A lot.
seriously tell me that people in any of history have known the price and done it anyway.
Oh, lots of
There's
people.
never
Oh, a lot of people. A lot of people. But you also know it comes with the knowledge of how a spell works. How to either A, undo it, B, counter it, or C, create a reverse. For every summoning spell, there's a banishing spell. For every fucking raise the dead, there's a spell to dismiss them. And
Wait,
where do you
what?
think that came from? There's spells to get rid of undead. That exists. I'm not making that up. Out of game, I'm
What?
not making that up. There is spells to get rid of undead. That's just a thing.
Well, clerics
Look
have
at-
turn undead and everything like that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Banishment probably works. I don't know.
And where do you think those reversals or other methods of undoing comes from, Tavanta? It comes from knowing what the thing is to begin with. Knowing knowing what a problem is and how that problem works is the first step to being able to fix it.
and
If
if
you
there
don't-
isn't, and if there isn't the knowledge, if that knowledge doesn't exist, and someone does something that's irreversible, what then?
If you know how it happened, you can come up with how to undo it.
I look
Not
at
all.
the only member that's not a summon and not arguing members. Like, I'm gonna be behind this door. Tell me when they're done arguing, and step out.
Curiosity, how is the Sphinx taking all of this?
He's just
Yeah.
been watching you quietly this whole time, bicker amongst
I think
yourselves.
he's fucking amused.
He doesn't outwardly appear to be. He's letting things play out. Like he's already had this conversation with himself and a million other people. you know, and he's just kind of hanging out, watching you suss through it all.
There's no way of knowing a problem can't be. There's no way of knowing any kind of solution unless you know that the problem exists. You can't put out a fire if you don't know what the fire is.
If the fire is bigger than anything we could ever handle, then yes, it is.
And
I think, personally, never mind. That's cruel, and I will not. I'm sorry. I was about to say something.
No, go ahead, say it.
I shall not.
I sense I've made a mistake.
Devonta, I understand your perspective. I don't.
You
I don't
truly
have-
don't.
I don't have to be in your specific set of circumstances to be able to empathize and understand. You have a family to care for. You have people to look after. I do not have that. I do not have that same. Not restriction. That's the wrong word. Restriction implies it's a negative. It is not. You have a family that cares for you, and that's a good thing. Not everyone's so lucky.
That's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from this as a cautious person. You're coming from this as a person who lusts for knowledge and I think will do anything and everything to attain it at the cost of whoever may be around you. Possibly, maybe, the world. That's what I think. And that's where I'm coming from. If the key to all knowledge were in that prison and it meant letting every single thing out, I truly think at the end of the day, you would try to. Especially based off of this argument. That you would unleash evils beyond comprehension to obtain all knowledge. And that is dangerous.
Allow me to ponder something with you, Tavanta. If, as you say, knowledge is so dangerous it shouldn't be sought out, why do you follow the path that you do now? Why do you seek the core?
This
I
is
seek
what
the
happens when you have
core.
a time traveling sphinx. He has answers to questions you haven't asked yet.
I seek the core to understand how to dispel the Arcanite above us, so that my family can see the stars.
And have you considered
And because,
the wayward
I'm
effects of enacting such grandiose change upon the environment that we're in?
yes, I was going to ponder this with several druids back uh, at Providence, and with the scholars at the academy about the adverse effects on the natural world here, since it has grown accustomed to this arcanite.
And
And
yet, your knowledge
and
that
if
you would... So you're saying your knowledge that you have gained thus far, and perhaps would gain in the future, you would share with others. For better or worse. What if those
and
others...
if I determine that dispelling the arcanite clouds would be adverse, I would stow away that knowledge until I found a way to possibly save the world without hurting the natural
In the
world.
meantime, those of who you have shared this information with, shared your goals with, you are to police them as well, to hinder their ability to carry out your mission.
It's already been done, as you know.
Of course. And if you were to lock away all that knowledge that you've let slip so far, how would you do so? How would you combat archmages and druids with their own free will, who wish to see this quest to its completion?
I don't have the capability of doing so.
Ah, yes. And this is the slippery slope that knowledge provides. Who is to say whether it can be disseminated for good or evil? Who is to say that good and evil are that diametrically opposed? That they even exist at all? These are the questions of the universe. But the only thing that remains constant is truth. True truth. Fact is inarguable.
Then perhaps I will pose something different. If I learned through my personal belief, if I learned that the truth I seek and the truth that could be shared with the world would cost lives, would kill, I would not share it.
Bit
I
late
value
for that,
life.
don't you think,
How
Devonta?
many? How
Yeah.
many would it have to cost for you to determine that? 1? 3? 1,000?
I value life. I value life too much to.
And what of the plants? What of the other animals who are not sentient? What of other beings beyond this realm that you call home? There are realms that are mirrors of this one. Would that not affect them? Magic on such a grand scale as this? Are you not paralyzed by all the knowledge and all the decisions you must make because of it?
Constantly.
Oh, yes.
It's why I think far too much.
And now you see the purpose of the Eternal Order. We find the truth, we find facts throughout history, as they are and as they happen, for good or for bad. and merely catalog and observe and record. That is my purpose here. That is the purpose of my order.
I do not.
And it can be yours if you wish.
It seems like your order. I do not have a lot of qualms. I have little to no qualms with your order. But it seems that your order traverses through time quite a bit to the point where they're foggy of the present. And I have too strong a tie to this present to undergo such a thing.
I understand. The offer exists to all who know of this place, and to any who can manage to reach us and seek out our knowledge for themselves.
That begs the question, if we refuse, will you let us leave?
Of course. I am not a warden of my own prison. I am a curator. I am a librarian, and I merely warden these books and scrolls and artifacts. I do not deal in the souls of others. They are to do what they think themselves to be right. All who have joined my order have done so of their own volition, and continue to do so of their own volition. Should they choose to leave, no ill will come to them, and they may return to a time of and place of their choosing.
My character would poke his head in and said, "Are they finally done arguing?"
A discussion is all it was, I believe, and insight has been gained. Decisions now must be made. You came here seeking my key. What do you wish to do with it? Do you wish to leave it under my care? Do you wish to leave its partner with me, to be curated? Or do you wish to trade? Services or currency. Either will do, and I can relinquish this prize to you, so you may continue this quest to find Guldagnir and the knowledge and power it holds, to do with as you see fit.
Question again. You do not know the nature of the Dark One, correct?
That I do not.
But the Wardens did.
The Wardens had an idea. They knew his name, or his title at the very least, spoken in whispers throughout his innermost circles. But I do not believe the Wardens knew what or who the Dark One really truly was. There's only really one way to find out. That is to
And
seek
I look
him.
at him as, but I do not wish to do that. I would only wish to prevent him from doing something calamitous like this again.
A mostly wise decision. A being with enough power to destroy a world who almost succeeded, at the cost of many millions of lives and an entire pantheon of divinity. Well, save a couple.
Save a couple. And birth of a new one, so...
It's the birth of several.
There were more
The newer
born.
gods are less anchored in their current domains as the old were. And I fear
Understood.
if such calamity were to be sought again, they would not have the same strength to be able to preserve as the old did.
I got a question. I swear it's not a stupid one, as you guys all think I'm going to ask.
There are no stupid
I
questions if
do
you
not-
truly do not know the answer.
I do not think you're stupid. I will just say.
Chance will actually nod at the Sphinx's words. But, if you don't know the answer, it's
Here's the thing. You said this was at least uh, whatever the year is, prison, right?
It has been around for many centuries.
Okay. And there's how many keys?
4 in total.
Okay. If it's a place to put the people that did fucked up shit, been around that long, there's no way. There's no support. There's no guards. No, there's only 4 people doing it. So what happened to all of them? Are they in there?
You assume that there are no guards watching the most dangerous mages in all of existence?
Yeah, but they still do shit like that. I mean, there got to be somebody feed them, somebody to watch them, somebody to if fucked up shit happened. They get hurt. Whatever. What happened to all of them?
Perhaps you should ask them. Seek them out and find out their stories.
if they aren't also trapped in the prison.
Well, only one way to find out.
Also, we know that these wardens were. At least one of them was a prophet for a deity. So that means that they had a considerable amount of power themselves. I'm sure there's a legion of wards and something to help keep things in place.
Look, I know I'm just a hired muscle. We can't leave those people in.
What do you suggest we do with them?
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know, but we can't leave them in there.
I have a question. Is through the storm the only way to access this island, to access you?
At this point in time, yes. But my island is under my own purview, and if you wish to traverse from this place, I shall not hamper that decision.
I'm only saying, if we were to want to still pursue the key, which it sounds like, at least to have all the keys and protect them, at least, we would just need that other key. And if we traded our keys, then we can go and find the next, and the next, and the next.
You would
I was
need
wondering
all 4
if-
keys to access Skuldagnia, that much I know.
Of course.
If you wish to
But
trade for mine, I would ask services and or donations of you.
What about key for a key?
One at a time.
You go first, Chance.
What kind of donations? Monetary? I don't think you're hurting for funds. Glances at the fucking sea of gold.
Well, how do you think I got this sea of gold? From
Donations, but I imagine you'd probably prefer something a bit more.
Meaningful?
Yes.
Yes. I'm willing to trade for an artifact of similar historical value, if you have it in your possession or can find one. Otherwise, I
What
can
about-
send you looking for some that I have earmarked for future excursions by the Order.
There's a relic I wouldn't mind talking to you about. If you would be willing to hear the ramblings of an antiquarian that's very much out of his depth in certain areas.
Very well.
You see, recently we came into encounter with a certain artifact that is rather dangerous. I'll just list off a couple of its names. Flip on the book. Dark Reflection, Blade of 1,000 Cuts, the Killer's Boon. Most commonly referred to as the Blade of Broken Mirrors.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. That blade holds a dark history. And an
Oh
even
yes,
darker
handed down from
power.
its assassin.
It has the ability for one to assume the visage of those they slay with it. It has been used as a tool by thieves, murderers, spies throughout history.
Wait.
Oh
You-
no!
Calm.
No, Tavanta, you don't understand. The history of how that blade is handed down specifies that the previous holder is killed by the new one.
I understand.
If the blade makes you look like the one you slayed, that doesn't make sense. That raises several concerns that need to be addressed, but that's something to find me for later.
We don't know what Hadrian's intentions are.
Oh, there's several, really. If I wanted to go particularly paranoid.
I believe
Over
there's a,
paranoia.
there's a
Clearly.
miscommunication here. The blade does not require you to kill to use it, or to pass it down. It works like any other enchanted weapon. It is just most often passed from one death to another.
If it's passed by from one death to another, it's very quite likely that perhaps the original user of the blade is actually, but depending on if they have any method of longevity, which is unlikely, but not impossible. There's a chance that the original wielder of the blade might still be around, which is oh boy.
It's a interesting leap. All we know is that Hadrian is in possession of a blade that can help assume the visage of people who have fallen to it before. Yes? That's all we know for certain. We do not know his intentions. We don't know enough.
I'm not trying to say he's going to use it for any particular nefarious purpose. If anything, if he isn't, there's a good chance that someone else will and now knows where to find it much easier. But that's beside the point.
Technically,
Yeah,
only us and 2 other people would know.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised though. Was able to find that it was a blade made for a dark god's most devout followers, and is at the rebreaking. There's potential ties to this perhaps dark one if I wanted to try and connect dots that I may not have any connections at all. Just a theory. Nothing concrete on that one. Well, only
I
other
have
thing
a question, curator. You said something of significant, like an artifact of similar significance. Could we not trade a key for a key?
You could, though I hardly see the point.
This key only points to that key, and that key only points to the one we have. There's really only.
Well, no, the only point to that key is to get to this key, and that key gets to other places. But if we do manage to find the other 3, I would rather it not all 4 be in one place. Let's say there was a dark one who wanted to do something similar again, and maybe there were some artifacts in a prison, it might help it do so a second time. Would be better to have the keys semi-scattered.
Add to my own curiosity, Moyle, what's your take on all of this?
Oh, I have a say. Oh, wonderful. I don't know. What do you want me to say? We're
Well, I'm
talking
asking
to
you what you think on the matter.
we're talking to a cat man about things, and you can't make up your mind. Seems to me like you should make a decision already about what you want your next few weeks to look like.
Primarily, I want to find what's at the end of my map, but
Okay.
it might.
You said the key my employer has points to your key, and your key points to another key, right?
Yes, mine points to another, somewhere in the sands of Arval, somewhere in the center of the continent.
Oh fuck, not that place.
Or
It
of all you
seems
said.
it seems like our it's a relatively simple trade and key for key, and we know that you're relatively safe, so they'll keep that key away from other people.
Thank you.
I
Is,
shall
I
do
mean,
my best.
That's what I just said. Thank you.
Though if
I'm agreeing with you.
I
If
know.
I-
I know. I
keep in mind that if I was willing to make a trade with you, I am also willing to make the same with others should they be on the same or similar path.
And if they have less than noble intentions, has neutrality, I assume.
As long as they contribute to my library and my collection, and to the truth being preserved here among my sanctum, then history will see what history sees at the end of the day.
So, if the servants of this dark one were to arrive and offer the same trade, or offer a similar value of trade, you would take that just as likely.
Sure.
Hey, gang,
Let's
can
see
we
what they
like
want with this.
take a quick break?
Yeah, I got a piss.
Well, yeah, a lot of us do. I was like pushing you toward like, hey, make a decision. Like, let's go. I gotta fucking pee, dude.
Okay.
While you guys are in character
Well, I'm not-
debating, I went to go use the restroom already.
Sure.
5 minute bio break.
Yeah. So we'll leave it off on, hey, what do you want to do next? Do you want to trade? I don't know. Let's pause and find out while we take a piss. Bye. Okay, and we're back. So, with the debate happening, Razis is like, hey, look, if you want, you can trade for this key. Knowledge or an artifact of similar value will do. I have a couple places that I can send you to retrieve some things that I've been looking for.
If we go to these places, is there a convenient way to get back to you?
Well,
Because if we
yes.
go to this place through the Arcanite Storm again, then have to. I don't have to tell you this. It's extremely dangerous.
I will send you with a means to send me what I ask for, and in return, when you receive my response, it will be with the key in it.
I see.
If you wish to go that route, I can certainly facilitate that. I cannot promise it won't be dangerous where you are going.
Anything worth anything is dangerous nowadays.
True words.
Ain't that the truth?
What'd you say? Wait, two people spoke.
I said truer words were never said. Anything worth doing requires some kind of danger.
Well, would we be able to know what we're actually looking for, or
Yes,
I'm sure you will tell us.
I will give you a list of items. Or, well, depending on where you want to go, I can send you with a list of items, or I can send you with just one.
well, that's immediately a bit more amenable than the last time we had to go find a relic somewhere.
You're
And no,
really hung,
Tavanta, I'm not letting that go.
you are really hung up on that, my friend.
Let it go, let it go.
No.
So, are the list of items equivalent to the ring altogether equivalent to the ring, or is the one item, or like elaborate? I suppose.
List of items. Well, I have 2 quests that I've been meaning to send some of the order on. There are a couple who are out doing my work at the moment who are not with us, but they should be returning shortly. If you wish to take on one of their jobs for them, I'm sure they would appreciate the reprieve. I will send you with a list of items to gather from an overrun temple in the Forest of the Lost on Araval.
We're still the lost. Ooh.
An overrun temple, you say?
Yes. This was an attempt to encroach upon the forests in a way that backfired horribly for those involved.
As that tends to happen.
Yes. You will see what I mean if you choose to go there. Inside that temple, however, are a number of artifacts which together I would consider equal trade for the key.
Nice.
On the other hand, there is another location, a forgotten grave of a great warrior who owned a magical blade which I have been looking for as a gift for one of the Order for quite some time. It also has fairly significant historical value to it, so I would wish to add it to my collection. You would retrieve this blade and deal with whatever else comes in your path, and return it to me, at which point I will give you the key that you wish for.
And each way would be the means of, you would give us the means of sending it to you, and in return, we would receive the key.
Yes, that is correct.
I see.
Of course, you could
Not
also,
the-
if you wish not
Okay.
to, at that point, return the items to me, I will simply write this off as a loss and send the Eternal Lord to pick up those items at another time.
Unrelated to the possibility of taking this quest, maybe have possibly a day or so to peruse some of your findings.
Man, those sailors going to be pissed.
Only if you're okay with me selecting which knowledge you are privy to. There are tomes and scrolls and musings in my collection which are not for your eyes. Not yet.
I just smirk. It's just so there was.
He
a-
has featured knowledge. Holy shit!
Wait, what?
Nothing.
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 Anyways,
I don't know why either. I missed all that, but whatever.
I understand. You sort of hinted at earlier that there had some means to travel in time.
It is not so much me that does the traveling. More of I can manipulate time around us to suit my needs, as it were.
That's mildly concerning. That's quite high level of magical might.
I've
I'm
spent many
sorry,
years
concerned
cultivating
about
it.
the power of powerful magic.
If you wish, I can send you to whichever time you feel you wish to go to, provided that in return you provide a service to me. I do not send people traveling throughout time lightly. I must know that you are trustworthy.
Understood. Can sending stones pierce the Arcanite, the storm around us?
No, I don't believe they can. Not
Ah,
normal
so
ones,
we
anyway.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So we would, outside of here, have no way to contact you if we wanted to, perhaps, engage in such a endeavor.
Well, I wouldn't say that. There are many artifacts that are part of my collection, one of which you are very familiar with.
Is it another one or just the same one from a different time?
Depends. What's the sigil combination for your Archmage?
Wait, do you have Archmage?
I pull out icons, sending stone.
It's got one contact in it. It's a really sad text message notification. History. You know his sigil combination if you say it. He was like, I have a different one. There were a number of these made, but not all of them were survivors of the Warden's attempt to punish Akon for his dealings with these things.
There's a story. Okay.
Yes, I believe, if I remember correctly, Akon is one of the wizards who was imprisoned in Goldagnia.
Oh. That
Along
is
with many
okay.
of his artifacts, should I actually.
That is knowledge.
I
So-
have.
If I learned your sigil, we could message.
I believe it should work, yes.
Well, there you go.
I have one more question for you. If you
We have
give me-
so many more, most likely.
I have one, and I can take a break on that because I imagine I've starting to wear on your patience.
The patience of one who can travel throughout time is immeasurable, my friend.
Fair point. Have not quite interacted with anyone of that caliber yet, until now.
He's been basically standing the whole time. He kind of like sits down in that cat way where like he kind of becomes a loaf, but he keeps his paws crossed in front of him.
What is the terms of joining your group, and what would that entail on both my end and yours?
To join the order, you must take an oath and stick to it. And in return, you will be allowed a fraction of my power to do with as you please. Although in service, of course, to the order.
I look at Chance and be like, is that something you're considering?
As much as the philosophy of not freely sharing knowledge is quite like a truck to the face,
What's a truck?
trout.
Wait.
It's like getting slapped in the face with a fish. I was trying to sound I was trying to do the accent, but having a slight
Yes.
speech problem can fuck with
Thoroughly unpleasant, yes, we understand.
that. I still cannot deny the idea of either being a part of or perusing the largest collection of knowledge in the entire universe.
I never said I was the largest. Perhaps I'm,
You've never
The
said
most-
you weren't either.
well, I'm the most complete on this world or realm, but there are other libraries which far outshine my own.
I'm going to put a pin in that for later. That's something to consider another time.
Don't know, please.
Pardon the pun. I just realized
Books,
that.
books.
Dalavash, I understand your distaste for the written word, but I am a historian. Books are kind of important to my entire field of expertise.
Same.
Well,
Books,
antiquarian,
books,
historian,
books.
similar enough.
Devonta
Okay,
just I can
we-
take
we
him
can-
or leave him.
We can talk about that later, Dalavash. I'm getting sidetracked. what would that oath entail, and how much of my own goals would I still be able to fulfill while not breaking it?
Well,
I don't suppose you have your oath in a written form of a contract or something I can actually read over.
it's written at your feet, actually. The runes there on the ground that line the pathway are. I believe you still have comprehend languages up. Are if you had been reading them for more this whole time, they are the tenets of an oath that you would take to become part of the order.
This would be a
So
fun
like a
paladin.
fucking paladin.
Yeah, this would be a fun paladin to play. Paladin, like knowledge paladin.
Yeah. I forget what I call it. I gotta find it.
The oath of knowledge.
Now
That'd be great.
VG now have to make a paladin oath for knowledge now.
No, I did. I already did.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
I knew he would. Talking about some of my backup characters, he's made specific
There we go.
shit for this world.
Oath of Reverence, Paladin. Yes. The Oath of Reverence is taken by paladins who seek the preservation of truth and the abolishment of deception throughout time. Adherents to this oath follow a strict set of tenets. Discover the truth, speak only truth, and punish deceit.
Are you prepared to speak only truth from now on?
Mm-hmm. And it's harder because you don't have magic to do it for you. You must always speak the truth of your own volition.
Only speak the truth. I assume that's also potential to my own detriment, to the point where, yes, if tell a lie or you die, well, I guess I need to purchase a coffin.
Well, the tenet says speak only truth. If you would tell a lie in a situation, you need not speak it. You need only to remain silent. This way you only lie to yourself.
Could Chance join this order and still be a part of our group and do what we do?
Of course. But I may pluck him from you temporarily to serve the order and this collection from time to time.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm gonna. That's a hard pass for me, man. Yeah.
Given how you
No.
exist outside of time, you apparently either exist outside of time or interconnected enough with the fabric of it that might as well not matter. I assume you're well aware of my own goals. At the very least, able to find out without much difficulty.
I don't think he's omniscient.
I'm not omniscient, but now that I have met you for the first time, I may do some digging. Perhaps I'll
that's
turn
understood.
the collection forward a few years to see what other information I've gathered about you. The trouble with that is, though, that the future is still being written. Always. by the
So you
decisions
can
that
all-
make.
So a lot of your knowledge is dependent on either the past or projections going off of your collection. That's
My knowledge is dependent on who we share it to. If I wanted to, I could drop you off before the breaking ever happened, and you could try and save the world.
Devonta, he's it's very, if only if you're looking for it, his ear, twitches slightly.
the problem with that is due to the idea of a ripple effect. Even if we did stop it, there's a very real chance we would never exist in the first place. So it would go into a loop of where everything happens anyway.
It's quite possible, yes. Now you see the dangers of why we do what we do. Any dissemination of knowledge to the past or future, where it does not belong, could have catastrophic and ever-reaching consequences unto the end of days.
And to some instances, perhaps past them. Okay. how much of my own existence would I have to give up? Because it's very clear that some of your order have to cut a lot of ties. Uh, one Onyx stems to mind.
You have
He
You
cut
have very
ties to
little
his
ties to
family
cut.
of his own volition. If he wished, he could return to them as he was. But at the same time, that is if he wishes to. Other members have family and obligations elsewhere. I believe Yuvik has an entire host of children he has to look after. But that is where the perks of what I can do come in.
And he has I wrote his name down. I'm fucking blind. Sir Sir Joseph Onyx cut ties his family of his own volition and did not have to join your order. Could have kept his original connections with no issue.
Joseph learned of our order through other means, and when he saw what we were able to accomplish, when he saw the power of the order and what it means to history, he decided to join us and leave his past behind, a past that he was not entirely fond of.
Understandable, everyone has something they may want to run from.
I mean, this is a benefit for you, Chance. You don't have many ties to cut.
Well, not many ties aside from the ones I've written myself. I don't break contracts. Now, I am well aware that such oaths like these tend to be binding and magical. How likely is that to affect anything I have going on with Loyal?
Well, should you wish to take the oath, it is only the power that I grant you that may be taken away.
Is there no potential for interference or some other unforeseen circumstances that might just break everything? Magic is kind of a finer science, I suppose. I think about it. So easily so easily just shattered to a million pieces.
And yet it is difficult to do on a grander scale. Yes, your connection with this eidolon that you've made is not something that I have control over. At least not as directly as this, through the oath. The oath you take will grant you powers, yes, but they are only extensions of myself.
Chance just sits there and he glances to Moyle, almost hoping that the devil on his shoulder will give some kind of idea what to do. This is what happens when your only real trusted advisor is a literal devil. Tend to get relaxed.
Tavanta kind of pipes up and tries to get Chance's attention. It seems like you could accomplish a lot with of what you want to do in the world if you join this order, and it doesn't look like it will interfere with what we do on this plane too much. It seems to be only good for you.
Try.
You don't always have to look to the devil. You have friends you can counsel with.
Keep this in mind, that in order to join the order, you must first prove yourself to it as well. Through adventures or trials which you will find yourself throughout your life. When you are ready, you are able to take the oath. Currently, you do not possess that capability. So this is not something. This is not a decision that needs to be made now.
Very well.
There you go.
I.e., you have to get it to level 3 paladin before you can take an oath. So take 2 levels.
Oh,
of
you
paladin,
have to
get
become.
it. It's the oath. The oath is a subclass. So yeah, once you get to 3rd level.
Oh, so everyone in the so basically every single person out there has at least what 2 or 3 levels of paladin.
At the very least, yeah.
That's
Terrifying.
fucky. Okay.
Minimum 3. But if you're if you are a if you get to be a 3rd level paladin through whatever adventures you go on, and you decide to take the oath of reverence, then I can have Rousius do that for you.
That's tempting. That is severely tempting. Though
I
I don't
you do.
know if this is a good multi-class option because
That's
it's
up to
probably
you.
gonna cut. It,
You don't have to do things for
yeah.
power moves. You can do it just for
I
story.
mean, true. That is true. I'll consider it. It's not something I.
That is
Not-
interesting. That if we were to oppose this order, we would have to go like a bunch of high level paladins.
It is not a small ask. I will have to think on it. I suppose that's all my questions answered. If anyone else wants to say anything, he's willing to still entertain our questions.
I assume as a group, we are keen on retrieving the other keys, right?
Yes.
Am I assuming correctly?
Well,
Calabash?
I mean, yes, but not for the sake of opening it and using it.
I don't really want to either, but
I
having
do.
the keys is I understand. So we would like to engage on this other quest. On this quest to find the find what you seek, curator, and trade it for the key. It seems like that would be our goal.
Very well. And which of the 2 options that I have given you would you like to pursue?
Could you relay the places we would have to visit again?
There is an abandoned temple in the Forest of the Lost, somewhere in Arival. It has been overrun and has contained within it several artifacts which would prove adequate compensation for the key. There is also a tomb of a fallen warrior where his sword would also prove valuable to my collection, and which I would accept in recompense. The tomb is located in the Ashen Expanse.
Also on Ariva.
Also on Arival, yes.
And you need to head to Arival as well, don't you, Chance?
Yes, there's a thing I'm looking for somewhere in the Underdark.
Wait,
And
Arval is north, right?
Arival is directly west of you.
Okay,
Yeah.
So now we're in front.
and also, if I remember correctly, please, I'm getting older. The key which you have points to there, to a place in Arival. Yes.
The key which I possess does, yes.
How? Here's a proposition. Can we trade keys now? And once we get what you're looking for, you can send us the key of embers.
That seems fair to me. A key for a key, and then a key for treasure.
Does that sound amenable to everybody? Since we have so much to do in Arival?
Yeah. And also, if we are keeping the Stormbelt shirt, we should get proper recuperate instead of borrowing from other people's before we do that.
Chance.
I agree. Keep. Yeah, it would be more efficient to do it that way. Where we just
You do know he could still trade that for other people with other people, right?
Yes, but they would need to get to. Basically, if someone were to come and trade it for that key now, then they would get to a place where we can't get to. But get if we trade this now and they have the key of embers, that place they will just be able to come to find us, but we'll still have access to this key to find what we're looking for. Right?
I do have something that might be something considerable, but before well, I'm not going to speak. I might as well, because Tomato already knows. And Chance will pull out the map.
Your map.
Yeah, he'll pull. This map leads to somewhere in Arval. Something there might be a bit. Might be. No. I intend to catalog whatever's found there, but there's likely more. Such things aren't never in isolation.
The map to knowledge is not necessarily equivalent to what it contains. To
What
it
I
leads
was
to.
going to propose was a contract.
Everything has to be a contract.
Contracts are important, Savanta, especially in terms like this. There's a reason why I make sure never to break any.
Contracts are those flimsy paper thing where you put X on, right?
Yes. Easily destroyed if you're not pouring magic into it. By the way.
Contracts bound by magic, or at least some still. It's
A contract on paper is easily breakable.
What is your proposition?
Yes. Thank you. Wow, if my compatriots could stop decapping my attempt here. My proposition on a contractual basis. You hold on the agreement that the list was found on the list is sent to you. And on the key for key trade, you hold on to that key instead of readily handing it out to someone else who arrives. A sort of on hold for the transaction.
Well, technically, he would already have to hold on. Like, sorry, this is me talking out of character. Technically, he would already have to keep a hold of it because we're going to trade that key for other artifacts. And so, if he wants those artifacts, he has to have that key.
Well, I was saying, I was saying what he's doing, and then what we do in return. I was about to get to that because I was going to add something to spice the deal.
Okay. Collateral time. Go ahead.
I aim to find what's at the end of this map. It is somewhere in the Underdark, and this map exists pre-breaking. It's old, and it is likely significant. Now, while I do intend to make at least a good portion of it on my own collection, because again, I am a historian, I do intend to have garnered something of that such. A catalog and your own pick of something there also. I see no reason not to share whatever collection, whatever I may find. I'm to mix up for me out of game fumbling my words like that, to kind of explain. I'm basically saying, hey, you hold on to the key, don't give it to somebody, and in return you get all this shit as part of the original transaction, and you you get you get access to whatever Chance happens to find at the end of his map.
But he was already gonna hold on to the key anyway.
Yeah.
You're just adding
No,
more shit
no.
to his side.
What I'm adding to it is a bit of security, so he doesn't like if someone shows up and wants the red key, he doesn't give them the red key.
What I'm saying, he's just not gonna give them the red key. And I'm sorry.
You don't know that. He might.
Like he's always saying he's a neutral party.
You're
if someone
assuming
shows
that,
up,
but
if someone shows up with something to trade for the key, he has no reason to say no because again, he is a neutral party. That's why I'm trying to incentivize him to be a little less neutral in this instance.
But
Because he's already said to our faces that if someone else, if he's holding on to the key and someone else shows up, he might just give it to them, depending on circumstances.
But I guess my confusion is, am I?
the confusion you have is you're assuming that when you make this deal and trade keys with Razius, that he's going to hold on to the key that you give him in return. He never said that.
Well, no,
He's not going to just hold on to it for you. He's saying, if you can give me these artifacts, I'll trade you the key for them. But in the meantime, if someone comes to take the key from him by trading something else, if that were to happen, he wouldn't be under any obligation to keep it.
I thought his obligation to keep that we're taking the quest to go find the items. That's my.
Yes, exactly. And if you find the items and he doesn't have the key, then you get to keep the items. That's how that deal works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you want to just keep him from pawning the key off to someone else and say like, hey, save that key for us while we go do your thing, that can just be, we can just deal with that. We don't have to worry about like you leaving collateral or anything. You can keep
Yeah, well, that was Chance trying to.
Yes, I understand what Chance tried to, and you're rightfully so. That's fine.
My bad. I was just confused.
But Razius will just say, there is no need for you to add additional collateral to this deal, Chance Fairweather. If you wish to have the key in reserve for your eventual returning of the artifacts to me, I can give you my word that I will not part with it except unto your group.
I'm satisfied with this.
Very well. Then
Because I assume one with such oaths as these is also bound to them just as much.
Then take.
So, do you want to get? Why don't we take both the collection of items and the sword and whatever is closest, or if whatever we find first?
Well, if you do so, then I can pay you in gold for the second quest that you managed to complete.
Well, there you go.
I certainly have plenty of it. It will take me a while to sort out all the coin that belongs in this time, but that I can do.
That sounds neat.
If that is your intention, then I shall give you these 2 items. And he kind of like gets up from his sitting position and goes over and like cat paws through the gold for a little bit until he uncovers a chest. And using one claw, he flips the lid open and brings it out in front of him. You can see it's a chest filled with scrolls. And very carefully, because he doesn't want to destroy them, he pinches 2 scrolls between his claws and puts them at his feet. He says, "You may take these. This will give you the means to return the items I've requested to me, as well as for me to return the items that you are due back to you once they have been delivered."
I am not good with magical scrolls, so I'm going to look to our wizard.
Hey,
You get 2 scrolls.
I mean, isn't it intelligence, or is it just? Is it just intelligence, or is it intelligence on the spells have to be on your list?
In this case, it doesn't matter. because if you fail at casting the spell, then that kind of defeats the purpose of what they're doing. But I will tell you what,
So
what
it's-
spell is on there. Hold on. I need to go to D&D Beyond for this. 'Cause I can't fucking find it in my own notes. I want to make sure that I'm saying the right one, though. So let me look it up and see if this is the one that I'm thinking of. Fucking goddamn. I believe it's called Speedy Courier. Galder Speedy Courier.
Speedy Courier. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
So Galder Speedy Courier. You can look that up and see what it does, but essentially that will give you the option to essentially summon an elemental with a chest, and then you put the stuff that you want to put inside the chest, and then it zips off to Razius and comes back with another chest with your stuff in it.
can Flamora learn it?
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. If you want to take the time to scribe it into your thing, then yes. It is a 4th level conjuration spell. He's giving you the.
Oh, would that mean it's on my list too?
It probably is. It should be on there.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, if you wanted to describe one of them into your book, then all you would need is to use your own gold for it. Whenever you want to use it. The scrolls have already had the expenses paid to make them, so when you cast them, you don't need to spend an additional 25 gold. So.
Dope.
Neat.
We got a free spell out of it.
Well, this is quite frankly not what I was expecting how I was expecting my day to go. I was expecting to enter a ruin, probably fight some old security system like in the demi plane that we found the Key of Embers in. Maybe navigate through some odd doors or something, because ancient wizards tend to guard their
Yeah, I'm sort of with the boss man here.
guard their treasures behind odd puzzle doors or something.
Well,
But
there's
this is much. It's certainly not the worst experience I was expecting, but it is by all means very different than I was expecting this day to go. Especially after I had to scorch a giant ape with multiple fireballs.
He tasted funny, by the way.
I still don't know why you insist on doing that.
Ooh.
I have a question.
That reminds me,
edible.
I probably shouldn't reset the island until the monkey's gone. Until you're off it, at the very least.
Wait, what?
He's saying that he would change it to where the large ape that kind of guards this place was not dead.
Well, it's more like he is. It's probably that he can. Well, he
Make
says he
another.
manipulate time. He just has to turn the island back to a time before it died, or
Yeah.
to a time where there's a different generation.
Whatever magic he would do it, and that's how he keeps his island stocked with dinosaurs and monkeys.
That's actually something I wanted to talk to you. That's actually something important. That actually brings up an important question. Sorry, I thought I was dumb.
Real quick, before you do that, are we allowed to talk about this place outside of this place? I mean, sorry, Tabata. Are we allowed to speak of this place outside of this place?
My order's clandestine nature protects the knowledge that is hidden here. If you spread that knowledge to others, there is a chance it may reach the ears of those who would wish to assault this place and take the knowledge within.
So keep our mouths shut. Got it?
Do with the knowledge what you will. Again, I am not one to determine the free will of another creature. But I suspect you wish no harm to come to me or my order. So
No.
I would trust you to be cautious with those you share information with going forward.
Uh, sorry,
Lots of
you
fumbles.
said you said something about a spell earlier.
You have 2 spell scrolls of Galder's Speedy Courier that will, when cast, summon an elemental with a chest, and you put the items that you're delivering in the chest. And when Razius receives the items, he will send the chest back with whatever you asked for in return.
Got it.
So you have 2 spell scrolls on you, which Flamora can use one of them to add it to her repertoire if she wants to at this point. If you have the money and supplies and etc., etc.
I do not have the ink to do it.
Yeah.
So
You have to find a shop somewhere.
got it.
Dope.
We encountered someone on our trek here. A rabbit folk a thing like outside of this island, or is that guy kind of unique?
Rabbit
Just
folk.
for no, I'm at VG. I'm asking, are the rabbit folk, is that like a thing outside this island, or is that a unique occurrence?
You don't know. That's the first rabbit folk that you've run across.
Oh, we encountered a humanoid rabbit creature by the name of Walden. Is he a part of your order, or is he just some natural occupant of the island before you arrived?
If I remember
God.
correctly, his parents fell prey to the island's defenses when he was merely a babe. And through a little bit of manipulation of events, I have given him a chance at life to live here in relative freedom, though his life is not cushy per se. He still has one. We are aware of the singular creature, but he has not sought out to introduce himself to us, and we have not sought to interfere with what he does.
Well, he is aware of you. I'm willing to. He was aware that there was other people on the island. Now that actually makes a lot more sense
Yes.
now.
Should he wish to leave or investigate further, he's welcome to, but again, those who know of us and wish to depart, we expect a certain behavior from, and those who are capable of reaching us, well, then they really deserve to, don't you think?
I think the main reason why he hasn't approached you might be the giant ape, but that's. Will he be reset as well when you put things back?
No. Only damage to the island and the island's inhabitants is reversible.
So he's different. Well, I did extend the offer to
It's not that he's different, it's more that my powers are selective. And if you are not part of the Order, I do not impart them upon you.
I extended the offer to get him out of here because it seemed like he. I just wanted to know if he was one of yours or something that. Well, it wouldn't exactly. When you said reset the island, I was a bit worried because, if we just took him out and yes, he just poofs into thin air, that would defeat the purpose.
There you go. Well, if he wishes to leave aboard your vessel, I'm sure he'll let you know.
We have talked for a long time.
Speaking of leaving
And my
aboard the
friend.
vessel,
We could just
Also-
take him.
one moment, and he goes pawing through the treasure again, and he returns with a very simple metal rod with a bulb at the end of it. It says, "If you place this aboard the deck of your ship, it should provide you protection from the storm moving forward."
Oh,
Also,
thank the
we want to-
gods! That would have been an absolute pain in the ass.
So if we wanted to visit this place again, we could have safe passage through the storm.
Yes.
Let's
I cannot say the same for the denizens of the island, but it will certainly protect you from the Arcanite in the air.
Wonderful.
I have a question about that, but I'm gonna say it for later.
We have been talking for a long time. My throat is very sore. How is there a place where we can rest for a bit?
Uvik will show you a place where you can have your quarters for the night, and in the morning, I shall give you I shall give you the locations of the places you're looking for, or as
What's
much
the
as I
structure? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm musing aloud. Thinking if the structure here, I'm just wondering if always based here, or if there was a previous occupant of this particular building structure.
know. The sanctum is of my own construction, and those who are willing to help me.
Well, then there's seemingly probably no point in me continuing the study of the architecture here. That was about an hour wasted.
Perhaps you may glean something from the little cues I've left behind for curious minds just such as yourself.
Oh well, now I have to go. Now I have to finish investigating.
Kind of smiles at you behind the beard. Yes, I figured you would. Well, if there's nothing else for us to discuss, Yuvik will show you to your chambers, and I will meet with you in the morning to discuss where you might find the items you're looking for.
Dalabash was facepalm when Chance said this, like, oh my god, you're just like my fucking master.
Also, if we can just peruse the library a little bit, that would not be too.
What I have available is outside of this room in another location. Go up the stairs to the left. When you reach the common room, enter through the right door, and you will reach the shifting library. That is where you will find whatever information you could find.
Understood.
With that, Yuvik, who's been waiting outside, taking a smoke break or something, comes back in and says, "All right, heard the curator. If there's nothing else to discuss, I'll show you to where you'll be staying. And if you wish to use the library, feel free. We'll have supper or what's left of it available at the dining room table. If you wish to dig in and do that, and then yeah, there you go. Follow me." And
Okay.
begins to lead you out of the room. We can kind of like montage the next portion, but basically, Yuvik will show you to a kind of like a bunkhouse kind of setup where it's one big room, but the sleeping arrangements are divided by stone walls. So everyone has their own little personal cavern or cubby to kind of hang out in. It seems that there were extra spaces that they weren't using, at least for now. That's a little bit dusty and aged, but will do for the night. Those of you who are checking out the library, you enter through that door in the common room where Razia said it would be, and you come across a fairly simple room that's like 2 stories tall. Essentially, it has an upper level and a lower level, and the walls and floors are just covered in bookshelves, and scrolls and stacks of books. There are places to read them. There's There's a fire in the center of the room, in a kind of like a hearth. That multiple chairs and couches are spaced around so that one can find a cozy place to read. There are a number of ladders which you can use to get up to the second floor and peruse to your heart's content. I will say that when you when you try to take certain books off the shelves and read them, a lot of the times they're blank. It's only in certain sections you find information.
Before we kind of split off to like library folk and common room folk, I kind of like looked like kind of signal chance to like break off from the group for a second.
Chance will nod. And he wasn't heading to the library immediately anyway. After he was indicated, he was gonna go back to the original room, just finish his examination. Really.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume like if you want to talk, that would be a good spot.
Okay. You know, uh, you. I understand how much you want to kind of, how tempting the offer it is to join the order. And one of the tenets is to speak truthfully. If you wish to pursue this, do you not think that we should tell, the other two?
If you, no, it says speak only truth. If I don't say anything, I wouldn't be breaking any tenets, now would I?
Fair enough.
And I'm not against telling them. If I imagine Flamor has already quite likely figured it out.
I don't. The only hint of it would be that, well, they don't. Flamor was there, but Flamor doesn't know that could have created the tree. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know our history. I turned British again. He does not know our history. So he doesn't know what that means. He doesn't. There's no way for him to connect that to us. All he knows is that they said that one of the wardens created our home. He doesn't know where that is. The only ones who are onto us would be Uvik, and probably the other ones at the order that know our secret. And Uvik doesn't seem like he would spill it, as long as I didn't pretend in front of him.
Enough of a hint was given. That's on top of all the times we've fucked up.
We've.
Yep. Yes, you spilled the beans too.
In front of these two? No, I have not.
Delavesh, no, Flamor, absolutely.
No, you spelled that one with saying that I'm an astrologist.
There's other times, we've known her for a fair bit. That astrology one was the more recent one, son. And I'll admit, that one was my fuck up. I will cop to that. I will take the blame for my own fuck ups. But let's be honest, you weren't exactly subtle at times.
In front of Delavash, no, I haven't.
Yeah, I was specifying not Delavash, I was specifying Flamora. Delavash, he's not stupid, but he doesn't have the context, and a lot of his knowledge is more practical than...
He's not stupid, but I'm not worried about him.
Neither. Flamor doesn't have enough context either.
I don't agree with that sentiment, but, well, we'll find out soon enough.
I mean, again, the reason I pulled you aside. Do you wish to tell them?
I see no reason to be forthcoming with the information, but if they ask, I also see no reason to lie.
Fair enough. And then I nod and move back towards the common room, towards the library.
Yeah. And
Now
before-
I'm going to finally finish that hour of exploration and take that 23 on that history roll.
Well, roll it again with your profession die. And also, I'm imagining a scene like immediately after this where Flamora comes up to the both of you. He's like, "I have a question for you two," and you're like, "Oh shit!" And then she's like, "Do you want marshmallows in your hot chocolate or, something just completely innocuous?" Sure, 19. What does that tell you? Let me scroll up here. The purpose and uses of any object, language, cultural practice, or similar subject. Cool. Well, the purpose of this place is to be a defensible location that also holds knowledge, and serves as kind of a garrison for the Eternal Order. There are subtle key architectural choices that were made in the construction of this place that point to many different cultures from throughout history, some of which you know and some of which you can't put your finger on. And the whole place reeking of magic definitely means that, hey, this is a Razius-infused location. Magic was probably used to build it, and magic is also probably used to sustain it. I believe that answers the question. Or at least what you would get from your insightful discovery.
Yeah. Again, Chance was more just wanting to finish, more just for his own curiosity, more as well. When a sphinx that says, yes, I have the greatest collection of knowledge on this world, dangles the thread, hey, you might find something neat. Like, the fuck, I have to look into it now.
Well, there's cues here that can be taken from, like, elven civilization, which has not been around, at least on this planet, for a long time. Same with dwarven civilization. Dwarves were a little bit fucked being underground. So dwarves have not been a major, like, presence that you have been able to discern. There have been a lot of Dwergar, because the Underdark had a lot of people who were able to survive because of the Underdark capital. But normal dwarves are not as prolific as they might be in a normal other place, Certainly not as much as on the moon. It's like when you move from one area to another, like 2 hours away, all of a sudden the demographics change. It's kind of that kind of thing.
There's multiple cultures, elven, dwarven. Gracious host and / architect, certainly it was a man. That's good, man. Man of many tastes.
Alrighty. So unless anyone else has anything to do,
I would like to ask Starkyle a question.
Okay.
And right. Hey, Starkyle, what was that guy saying that you were lying about something? Tavanta, I'm sorry.
Oh, Star Cal to his face.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that. I'm
It's a term
very
of
tired.
endearment.
I meant to say Tavanta.
It's fine.
Yeah. Good. Tavanta?
Devin? He might have gone AFK. I don't know.
The abyss has taken him.
Fuck. Well, we can flash back to when you asked that question, but other than that conversation, you guys are all set for the night. Are you doing anything during until like before the morning? Are you setting up watches? Are you casting spells? Are you asking more questions of the people that are here?
I
Take that as a no.
I'm thinking of something I want to say, but I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
Chance will at least look through the library on certain, devils in general, just to see what I can do anything of note. Devils in particular, because relevant information.
Just any relevant information.
Yeah, relevant information to Chance's particular situation, because again, he was trying to find out stuff about his ancestor. And if all the books he finds comes up blank, well, side of a slight curse.
Well,
it would be.
Here, I'll have you do this. Roll me a investigation check first, and if it's higher than a 12, I'll give you the information that you're looking for. If it's higher than a 16, I will give you the reason why you can't find anything else.
Can I have my professional die because I am researching?
Yes. Easy enough.
24 with a +2.
Yeah, 26 is fine. So it becomes apparent as you're kind of thumbing through pages of books and places in the library that none of the events that you are reading about or searching through go past the present day. So, and it seems to be that the books and scrolls are relatively organized in a chronological order of a sequence of events. And organized such that it would be pertinent to whatever time frame they would be in. That being said, you cannot find any information past the present day because future knowledge is for the future people.
I mean, I wasn't looking for future knowledge. I was just trying to find info about.
But you have to search through the library to figure this out. So in your investigating things, you kind of come to this conclusion that maybe some of this stuff is blank because future. But the stuff that you do manage to find specifically has to do with pre-breaking stuff, specifically right before and coming up to the event known as the breaking. Because when the alert was thrown that the world was going to end, this happened like... It happened, it wasn't like, in a week the world's going to end, everyone batten down your hatches. This happened months in advance. And all the gods started freaking out at once, and nobody could figure out what was going on. And the wardens, especially when they got news of what was going on, tried to figure shit out. And there is an accounting, like a copy of a letter that you find smushed between 2 pages of a tome. That is a letter written from Raylis Quayland to someone else. You don't know who, because it's signed initials, or 2 initials from Raylis Quayland. But you find a memoir that essentially says, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know how to find what I'm looking for, even if we can stop this from happening. But the other wardens of I have at least found that whoever this Dark One is has ties to the 9 hells. Fiends, devils, demons, all seem to be within his purview. And any followers of his should be treated with the utmost caution and hostility.
Before we find out that the Dark One is somehow that ancestor, that would be a right pain in the dick. That's unfortunate. Okay. To go Archdevils of note I mentioned here. Fuck. Like Chance will go late into the night trying to find anything that might be helpful.
Yeah.
to what he's looking for.
There's honestly not much. Essentially, there are a lot of memoirs written between certain people that have been gathered and collected by Razias, which detail the frustration at the lack of information, especially. Whatever plot this Dark One and his cult had, they did it in secrecy for so long without managing to be detected, even by divinity, that at the point they were discovered, it was already way too late.
I assume like because there's a limit to what we're allowed to see here. There's just might be like someone keeping an eye in the library. I assume.
Nope, the library is self-sustaining, so it's just there are others who could come in and read from it. In fact, I think Garrett would come in, followed by the other two members, which are missing, who are a barn owl, Aarakocra, and I don't remember if I made him elven or human. Hold on.
Chance would like probably, if he could get their attention, ask like where he might find information on particular archdevils.
Well, hold on. So they come in the room. It's a barn owl Aarakocra dressed in like white and gold robes, who's leaning on a walking stick or a staff of some kind, quarterstaff. And the other one is human male, short red hair, and kind of like a green like overcoat on. Here it says, this is one of the new ones now. This is Chance, I believe. Chance, this is Antonio, Avalas, and Hugh.
Yeah, it's Antonio! I just recognized the name!
All right. I love
Woo!
this. Sarah Night Chain Gang, here we come.
It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Antonio Avalas, and I am part of this Eternal Order.
He reaches out a taloned hand to shake yours.
Chance takes the hand. My name is Chance Fairweather. This is Archmoyle.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Colin Pugh.
Good to meet you as well. I assume Moyle is just standing there like, kill me.
Moyle is trying his best not to doze off in an armchair like 2 feet from you.
No. Him and Dalabash is just leaning up on each other, just like dozing off.
Moyle doesn't need to sleep, but he can be bored pretty easily. Anyway,
so, I see you have taken to perusing our library.
Well, I've noticed that future events aren't in any of the books, which, well, not what I was looking for anyway, but that was a nice little tidbit to figure out, I suppose.
Yes, the library has a selective way of revealing its information. Only after having experienced the time period in which you are in, do you have the chance to read about it here in this place.
So I have no method of looking too deep into the past. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yes. Unfortunately, you would not find anything here that you could not find anywhere else around. In another place, perhaps, that would maybe take time and effort to get to. So it is convenient in this way.
Well, I doubt to be able to find any kind of anthology, a list of particular devils.
Well, I will leave you to your studies, and I must go with Colin to debrief the curator Razius on our recent excursion. If you'll excuse me.
Yeah.
Come, Colin.
He gestures for Colin to follow him, and he slowly hobbles out of the room.
The chances like kind of like. Why is it every time I try and find something out about that my ancestor, I think it's just saying the world just decides to say no.
Maybe it's
Nothing can
because
ever be
you need to go
nothing.
where I tell you to go.
Shut up, God.
No. All right. There you are.
But still, it's like every time I try, I think I may find a lead. I get fucking all.
Devonta, are you back yet?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? I was.
Flamora wanted to ask you a question, but you were gone, so we couldn't ask you.
What was the question?
Earlier, those men said that you were lying about something. What were you lying about?
I was pretending. There's a difference.
Cool. You're pretending to people who know space and time.
What?
You are pretending to be something. Never mind. Why? Like, you've been acting suspicious. Like, how you know stars. How you're able to access the stars. Considering there's a fuck off Arcanite storm since you're a fucking astrologer. If you don't want to answer, that's completely valid, but I just figured I might as well ask.
I told you
What's-
should let loose
what's-
now.
What's the astrologer?
You're not here right now, this is in private.
Yeah, I'm not there either.
I told him he shouldn't have let loose and I was an astrologist. I'll gripe on him about it later.
You literally
Anyone-
turn into a constellation when you do half your shit.
Yes.
If I didn't say the astrologer bit out, I didn't say the
Hold
quiet part out loud.
up. Just so we're clear, not every single star druid in the entire world is an astrologer.
No, but you are.
You're
Yeah,
also the
correct.
only star druid that
You have the tools to do so, and you carry them on your person. And someone like
I
Flamora,
have
who
a
is-
spyglass.
A star
Take a
map.
look at
Upgrade the star map.
You have a star map, and you're dressed
Star map,
smartly.
which you've technically never really seen.
You have to
Because I
use it as a focus for your spells. You have to bring it out eventually.
I have a staff that came with my starting kit as being a druid that I use. I made it a purpose not to use the star map this entire time. I've even gone back and looked over, and I haven't used the star map yet.
All right. Well, regardless, Flamora can put 3 and 3 together. There's a lot of
Question.
there's a lot of magic that you have used and a lot of equipment that you have on your person that are not common tools of other people she is aware of. So it's a question mark, and she's a wizard, and wizards like to turn question marks into exclamation points.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway, continue.
yeah. So, yes, I know the stars. I've seen them, as does anyone who's looked in the breaking of the clouds. The common lie I tell people is that I view the stars when I was a very child and have devoted myself to them. Druids such as myself devote themselves to the stars as they would devote themselves to any other singular part of nature. I'm British again, but I'm just gonna roll with it because I'm tired.
Yes, fuck it. We're about to end after this question's answered.
Right. So, people who sort of are devout to the stars can, and the nature of it, can access my powers as well. So that is true. The lie is that I discovered the stars when I was a child, and that's how I became devout. Real reason I'm devout about it is because, yes, Chance said I was an astrologist. I studied the stars for a good portion of my life. The reason that was all the suspicious things. The answer to your real question, which was, what were you pretending? What were you pretending about, and why? Was because I said a thing about. I made the statement. Well, to clarify how Dalavash's ancestors got to the moon, and the pretending thing is that I do know, and I knew before I even said that.
May I ask how you know this information?
Well, me and Chen should know best. We live there.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We lived there for our entire lives until about, what has it been? A year now?
Almost a year.
Close to a year.
It's actually over here a little bit.
Yeah, time wise, it's if it hasn't already been a year past, then it should be close.
Yeah. Close to, if not more than a year now.
How
Basically.
did you?
Basically, 1,000 years ago, the wardens, as they were called, had another name, which were prophets for gods. At least one of these prophets. The only reason I know is because one of these prophets came to the moon with us and through a wish spell created that great big tree, which allowed us to live there for thousands of years.
I don't think they were called the
But,
prophets. They were called something else.
Shepherds.
Huh?
The shepherds, not the prophets.
I only know about that because I took notes, bitch.
Yeah.
I took notes too, but they're in a box in that room, and I'm tired.
The shepherds.
Right. So, shepherds. Basically, before the breaking was about to happen, the gods told the prophets, and gave them the knowledge to make a number of great ships that could sail the stars. And we loaded. Well, I'm saying we. I wasn't born yet. Loaded them up, went to the moon, and colonized it. And then around a year ago, we saw a break in a prophet got word that there was going to be a break in the clouds, and we saw this as an opportunity to go back, see what had happened. I helped chart the course to lead the ship to its destination. We launched off. It was a rocky landing. Basically, where Providence is, the place I keep going to, that's where we landed.
Oh,
Hence
Yeah, it's
why
a
it's
lot.
not on any map.
That sum it up?
mm.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Well, at least it didn't fall into the seas.
What?
I said at least it didn't fall into the sea. Hey, how the what? I'll probably have questions tomorrow because I am tired. I need to think of the shit.
Mm-hmm. I would. The reason you didn't know up until now was because, well, we're cautious. And kind of weird saying you're from the moon. Kind of like saying you're an alien.
Yes, I know, but
It's
fair.
kind of a weird thing. Like, most people didn't even believe the moon existed when we got here, which is, wild.
I know it was a stupid theory, but yeah.
Yeah. Moon's real. There's a tree on it. We're from there. We're moon people.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Just let that sink in. You go to bed. You think on that.
I will.
So, with that, at the end of the day, when you all are resting and bedding down, how let this chance stay up?
I would also like to go into the library, but we can do that off session.
Sure. How late does Chance stay up doing things?
Fairly late, honestly. He might as well just pass out in the library.
Okay. At a certain point, after you awaken in the middle of the night, after having dozed off with a book on your face, you place the book down and say, "Oh man, probably time I get to bed," and start to stagger out of the room, and notice that Moyle is not with you.
I will use my connection to see through his eyes. Where is he?
He's not on this plane. He has effectively been unsummoned by something.
Huh. Chance is suddenly much more wary.
And with that, we're going to end the episode right there. Thank you all for joining me for the last session of this year. We're going to end it right there, and we'll pick up January 2nd, I believe I said. Yeah,
Hell,
that's
the
next
mind
Monday.
goblin you left me with.
Yes, for 1 month. For a whole month. Think about that. But we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back on January 2nd, unless someone wants to run a one shot or something, or a small like mini 2-session campaign in the meantime. Then feel free to schedule that on a day in December. But I will not be running anything the month of December, just so that we respect holiday time and schedules and family and all that stuff, and not have to deal with scheduling this as well. We'll be back on the 2nd for the continuation of this, and I will try my hardest to remember what the fuck happened, because I have a really bad memory and things will slip my mind. So until then, I'll see you guys later, and goodbye.